know we're going to get everyone's best shot. Hell, we welcome it. We're those guys.
I don't think people
we're watching an all-time.
And we ain't backing down from no fight. See, in KC, we're building something strong, something permanent. This right here, this is special, and we're all a part of it. Chiefs Kingdom, let's run it back.
The playoffs are here, and the NFL app has you covered. So get ready for more football all postseason long and tap into the NFL app.
Time to go to work.
Watch every single playoff game and Super Bowl 55 for free.
Pass is intercepted.
Plus, get all your breaking news and highlights.
We start with breaking news.
Download to your mobile device by visiting NFL.com/mobile or your app store.
That's what we do, baby!
Certain restrictions and data rates may apply.
This is the Sports Radio 810 postgame show on Kansas City's home for the National Football League. Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Brought to you by Casey's Own CBD American Shaman. Come on into your local shaman store for a free sample of stress-sacking CBD. Everything is better with the feather.
The Lamar Hunt Trophy was gone from Kansas City for so very long. And now we know that for at least 2 consecutive years, it lives back in Kansas City. Welcome back into the Sports Radio 810 WHB postgame show. The Kansas City Chiefs are one step closer to running it back, and the Kansas City Chiefs are once more AFC champions. 2 party poppers. That one actually blew up in my hand. Everything's okay. But some genuine excitement and also a feeling of having been here before because the Kansas City Chiefs were last year. Operation Run It Back has met its second biggest step, and the Chiefs leaped over it in a 38-24 victory over the Buffalo Bills. That this is going to sound hyperbolic, but the game wasn't that close. Things were a little scary at the very, very beginning. The Chiefs gifted some points to the Buffalo Bills and then never gave them anything else. In fact, they only took and took and took the Lamar Hunt Trophy back one more time. We will hear from Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes, everyone at the podium. We'll hear from the Bills. We'll take your calls. We'll talk to Matt Derrick of ChiefsDigest.com. We'll take your comments as well. We're live in a whole bunch of places on the Sports Radio 810 WHB, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch channels. You can leave your comments there, and I'll keep an eye on all the comments over the course of the evening. You can also text the show, 913-912-4810. If you want to hop online, it's 913-3810810. We're not going to get to calls right off the jump because we are currently waiting to hear from everyone from the Chiefs podium, eventually to hear from Josh Allen, Sean McDermott, etc. A game, though, with so many things that we can focus in on, so many things to break down, and we're going to have so much to talk about over the next 2 weeks. And look, I don't want to spend the next few hours talking about the next 2 weeks. We'll get to previewing Chiefs and Buccaneers, but think for a moment about how excellent it is going to be to spend these next 2 weeks previewing yet another matchup between Patrick Mahomes and Tom Brady. This was pretty much the only way we were going to see those two face off again, and I know the Chiefs beat the Buccaneers earlier this season, but leading up to this game, NFL Network kept replaying old Chiefs games, old AFC Championship games, and of course, one of those includes both the Chiefs, the AFC Championship, and the New England Patriots. The Chiefs, with Patrick Mahomes, have been in the AFC Championship game all 3 years with Patrick Mahomes as a starter. He is 3 for 3 on playing on championship weekend as a starting quarterback. That is obnoxious. That is absurd, and it lives here in Kansas City. But now they're 2-1. The one loss, though, came at the hands of Tom Brady and those New England Patriots. Now, the Patriots aren't even carrying the mystique at this point, but Tom Brady still does. The Chiefs are going to have a chance. Patrick Mahomes is going to have a chance to take that torch from Tom Brady once and for all. I don't know if it will send him into retirement like the losses this year did to Phillip Rivers, and sounds like will be the case for Drew Brees as well. I don't expect Brady to quit after one more game. It seems like he's still got some gas in the tank. But what a blast it will be to preview the two of them together for the next couple of weeks, what we're going to see from one more matchup between Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes. Absolutely remarkable. I'm Joshua Briscoe. The Drake, Jason Justice, and Rudy Salazar are both roaming around making sure the show is running here today. And Jason, I'm sort of shouting you out again because I didn't hear the thing that you said into my headphones. It was not shouted at me loudly enough, I suppose.
Well, we should probably take a break here real quick before we get too far behind, and then we'll try to get some sound on here.
Okay, we can do that then. Let me set up a couple of things here really quick, and then we'll take a quick break and circle back. And I know we just got started, but if we wait too much longer, I imagine Jason's going to come in here and unplug my microphone and then throw to a break himself. So let's spend a minute on this. You've had so many of those storylines over the course of this last week of so many people, and honestly, largely people who I don't think really had the full scope of information, talking about how, well, the Chiefs have just won all these one-possession games. Well, they'll turn it on in the playoffs, or maybe they won't, or maybe they can't, as was brought up in the halftime show on Fox during Packers and Buccaneers earlier today. It's all been one-score stuff. Can the Chiefs actually rally all of their best offensive moments together in one game whenever they need to flip the switch? As if these one-score games have been nail-biters, as if this offense hadn't been excellent. But then today, they come into this game and they still don't even have Sammy Watkins. This offense is still not even at full strength. Their offensive line has still been beaten down over the course of the year. That may have gotten worse today. We'll give you information we find on Eric Fisher as soon as we get it. It sounds like right now it doesn't look good in terms of Eric Fisher's Achilles, an early report there from Andy Reid. So that is certainly not optimistic. It sounds like in all likelihood Eric Fisher is probably done for the season and will have a road to return next year over a tough offseason. As right now, sounds like a ruptured Achilles is probably the best to guess. But again, right now the official word just doesn't look good regarding Eric Fisher's Achilles. But with all of those things stacked on top of each other, the Chiefs were still 14-1 with their starters. They still got past the Cleveland Browns in a way where that offense looked exactly like it did today until that second half, and then until Patrick Mahomes had the toe issue he was fighting through, and then obviously left the game with the concussion / getting woozy on the field, whatever happened there. It should come as no surprise to you that they brought all of this firepower to the field today against the Buffalo Bills. And again, the final score was not as close as the game. It was closer than the game was. This was dominance. This was domination. And this is exactly who the Chiefs are. For so long, the Chiefs were the lovable underdog because they never actually won the big games. Here, we saw last year the Chiefs become the team that did complete the turnaround from lovable underdog to champion, the great triumphant story. Well, this entire season has now become about the Chiefs being the NFL's villain, being the team that you expect to see win, being Super Bowl favorites from week 1 through week 17 and into the playoffs. It's all been about who can knock off the Chiefs. And in the AFC, as we stand here right now, the answer was no one. Will it be Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? We'll find out in a couple of weeks. We'll talk about it for a couple of weeks. But the Chiefs didn't even play a perfect game today, and they held the Bills at more than one arm's length. This was everything you could have asked for, and the Chiefs are once again AFC champions and are headed back to the Super Bowl to attempt to run it back. I'm Joshua Briscoe here on the Sports Radio 810 WHB Postgame Show. It's brought to you by CBD American Shaman. Free CBD samples every day. We need to take a quick break. Whenever we come back, we're going to start getting audio from the podium and break down everything that we saw today as the Kansas City Chiefs are headed back to the Super Bowl.
You're listening to live postgame coverage on Kansas City's home for the National Football League. Sports Radio 810 WHB.
The NFL playoffs on Sports Radio 810 WHB are presented by Victory Chevrolet. At Victory, we sell them all. By Anthony Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electric. The technicians you can trust with your house keys. Online at anthonyphc.com. And by CBD American Shaman. Come on into your local Shaman store for a free sample of stress-sacking CBD. Everything is better with the feather. Tune in Sunday to hear live coverage of the AFC and NFC Championship games on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
You know what makes good sense? Staying safe this holiday season while spending time with your family and friends. Let us cater your safe and happy holidays. Now that makes good sense.
So take us home to your family. Who's to say you can't buy love? Just take a bite of a good sense of good sense. Good sense makes good sense.
LMC Truck, located right here in Kansas City, offers quality parts and accessories for Chevy, GMC, Ford, and Dodge trucks, SUVs, and vans. At lmctruck.com, their website features the same detailed interactive artwork as the catalog. Restoring old memories or just getting started on new ones, LMC Truck is here to help. They are more than just parts. Trucks are a lifestyle. They understand that. LMC Trucks helps you live it. Just go to lmctruck.com. LMC Truck, keeping generations on the road.
What comes after January? February, the month where you get free stuff from me, Bob Hamilton. Buy a qualified AC and get a brand new furnace for free. Buy R48 insulation and we'll upgrade you to R60 for free. All this with a worry-free warranty. How's that for peace of mind? Better call Bob.
Bob Hamilton Plumbing, Heating and AC. Call 888-4BOB. Remember 913.
Do you have a frog? You know, a freezing room over the garage? Now that everyone is home, are you looking to convert your frog into an office, a schoolroom, or a comfortable room to escape your family? With no ductwork required, Mitsubishi Electric offers room-by-room air filtration and precise temperature control. Let's help you turn those cold, uncomfortable spaces in your house into a space you and your family will really enjoy. To learn more about Mitsubishi Electric's solutions, visit keepkccool.com today. Now, they can help you whether you need to heat it up or cool it down. Mitsubishi's got you covered. Our biggest problem here in the Sports Radio 810 control room and studio was the heat. We've got a lot of windows and a lot of radio equipment, and our Mitsubishi unit has kept us cool for years. It works like a charm, and it works quickly, and it's whisper quiet. It's been a real game changer for us at Sports Radio 810. Check them out at keepkccool.com. That's keepkccool.com today.
New year, new budgets. Every small business has unique needs. And when you partner with a Dell Technologies advisor, you get real-time, tailored advice. They'll even give you a free consultation on your servers and storage devices to develop a custom solution to help improve your company's productivity. Plus, get special financing with Dell Business Credit and big savings on business computers with Intel Core processors. Call a Dell Technologies advisor at 877-ASK-DELL.
Rally House, shop every team in town. College and pro, come on, it's time to go.
We're back in the playoffs, KC. Shop the largest selection of Chiefs gear and your favorite jerseys at Rally House to get ready for another great Chiefs postseason.
Kansas, Missouri, Kansas State, Chiefs and Royals make KC great. Rally House, Rally House. It's your city, it's your house, it's the Rally House.
Shop Kansas City Chiefs NFL playoff gear in store and online at rallyhouse.com.
Hey, Kansas City, Stephen St. John here, and I am stoked that KC was able to complete a whole season of football. Now, it's the postseason. When we look back at 2020, let's remember we had KC football, and it was awesome to be a KC fan. Another great reason to be in KC is because of my favorite dealership, Roberts Robinson Chevrolet Buick GMC. They want everyone to be prepared for the ice and snow with vehicles like this 2020 Chevy Trax LT all-wheel drive SUV. This subcompact SUV is perfect for getting around in rough weather. Get extra conquest cash for trade-ins and take off over $6,300. Was $25,265, now only $18,902. Come see why customers say they just make it easy to buy a car at Roberts Robinson. Go online to robertsrobinson.com, Check him out on Facebook or call 816-630-3151 and ask for the personal shopper. Chevrolet, find new roads.
Hi there, Gary Giles with Giles' Jewelry. Everybody knows Giles' Jewelry is the place to buy an engagement ring. Thousands of diamond rings, quality second to nobody. Come on into Giles, 95th and Antioch, right in front of the big high V. Giles' Jewelry, we're the jewelers you'll recommend to your friends and family.
Giles' Jewelry for the best that's yet to come.
If you have an urgent orthopedic or sports injury, the University of Kansas Health System is open, safe, and has extended hours to see you quickly. Your orthopedic and sports injuries deserve champion treatment from the experts who treat the Chiefs. Request an appointment at kansashealthsystem.com/sportsmedicine. That's kansashealthsystem.com/sportsmedicine. The University of Kansas Health System is the official healthcare provider of the Chiefs.
It's time for the Chiefs Drive of the Game.
Brought to you by One Request, a Kansas City company making car shopping easy. Stop searching site to site and avoid the numerous calls and emails from sellers. Search less, find yours at onerequest.com.
Third down, Mahomes takes a knee, and that is it. The Chiefs are going back to the Super Bowl. The road to repeat for Kansas City will run through Tampa. The matchup is set for Super Bowl 55. It's the Chiefs and the Buccaneers.
Kansas City headed to Tampa for the first team in NFL history to host a Super Bowl from their home stadium. The Chiefs are the higher seed. Sometimes life isn't fair. Here's what is fair. The Kansas City Chiefs are going to their second consecutive Super Bowl. A truly unbelievable development if you would have told us about that 3 or 4 years ago. Next up, we're waiting to hear from Chiefs Chairman and CEO Clark Hunt. He should be taking to the podium any moment now. In fact, he may be there at this moment. Let's go to right now. Here's Chiefs Chairman, CEO, and owner Clark Hunt.
Really thought it was one of the best games that we'd played all year. It's incredible just to get back to the AFC Championship game, much less win it and get to go to Tampa with an opportunity to win another Lombardi trophy. I can't speak highly enough about the job that Andy's done the entire year. This year had more challenges and more distractions than any football year in recent memory. And Andy did a great job of leading him through that, keeping him focused, and the performance tonight showed it.
We'll go first to Adam Teicher. Go ahead, Adam.
Hey, Clark, congratulations. Wanted to revisit the decision to run it back. Obviously, it looks like it's worked out, at least so far, but was that a difficult decision to come to maybe bring back this group of guys as opposed to maybe make some changes and try to bring some fresh blood in here like you did the year before?
You know, it really wasn't. And I credit Brett Veach for the job he did with our roster. Obviously, most of the starters were the same ones we had last year, but there were a few changes. As he does every year, he found good players who could fill those roles. But really, when we brought the nucleus of this team together, the idea was to have a team that would be together for a number of years. Many of the key contributors were very young when we either drafted them or signed them as free agents. And we're just watching the group grow up in front of our eyes.
We'll go next to Todd Lebo. Go ahead, Todd.
Clark, you mentioned a little bit about just the enormity of this year and trying to get through everything you guys had to do. Was there ever a point, you know, at any point in the offseason with everything that was going on in the world where you thought, I don't know if there's even going to be a football season, or are you going to get to where you're going to be a couple weeks away from the Super Bowl?
I think in the spring and early summer, many of us had a lot of uncertainty about how this was going to unfold. I don't, think we knew for sure that you could play football safely, that the virus would not be passed on the football field. Those were just things we didn't know. And it was really a step-by-step process for the league and all the teams to figure out how to do it this year. and credit to the medical staffs at the league, at the Players Association, and with each team on the job they did navigating and coming up with the protocols that allowed us to play. I mean, the fact that we've made it now to the Super Bowl without a game canceled, I think is a testament to how good the protocols were and the job that everybody has done to follow those protocols so that we can be at this point.
Go next to Nate Taylor. Go ahead, Nate.
Hello, Clark. Congratulations. I'm wondering if there is a specific example, given today's win, where you can look back and see the true impact of the importance of the leadership from Patrick and Andy on the team that led to today's success.
Well, I think if you look at the last 7 or so games that we played before the Charger game at the end of the season, a lot has been made about how close those games were and the fact that they were all one-score games or less. And I think that really speaks to the leadership that we have on the team. That maybe even though the team wasn't at our best on those days, the leaders on the team found a way to get it done. Some weeks it was the offense, some weeks it was the defense, and some weeks the special teams contributed to that. But to me, that's really a sign of great leadership. They had each other's back throughout the season and allowed us to get through and get to the playoffs. And then the performance today, I don't know that it was a complete game, but it was one of the best for sure.
Got time for a couple more. We'll do Pete and then Vahe. Go ahead, Pete.
Clark, congrats on all the success. I know when you took over as chairman in the mid-2000s, you would always hope that the Chiefs would be this model franchise that could do something like have a franchise quarterback with a rapport with the head coach and go to multiple Super Bowls, things like that. Now that your plan is finally coming to fruition, I just was curious how it feels to maybe be looked at across the NFL of a team that some other team out there might be building toward.
Well, I'm very proud of the group of people that we have here. I guess if there was one thing that I would really, point to, that starts with Andy, Brett Veach, Mark Donovan, the leaders in the locker room. I think that group of people has allowed us to build a team that's a consistent winner and one that can hopefully compete for many championships. I certainly don't take it for granted. It's very, very difficult, as recent history has proved, for teams to get back to the Super Bowl or get back and win the Super Bowl. So our job's not done at this point, but I'm very proud of the guys, and I think it's really a testament to the quality of the people that we have.
We'll go last to Vahe. Go ahead, Vahe.
Hey, Clark, congratulations. I wonder if you could just describe the feeling of a second time having the trophy in your father's name, and maybe how much that symbolizes a little bit of a turn after so many hard years in the postseason for the Chiefs.
Yeah. Well, this year is definitely different than last year. In a lot of ways, last year was the finish line for a quest that we'd been on for literally 50 years. And, that first time that you achieve what you set out to achieve will always be that special. But what I remember about last year was getting to lift that trophy in front of our great fans at Arrowhead Stadium with my mom on stage. That setting, I'll never forget. That moment will be one of the most special of my entire life. So glad to get to do it again. Thought about a lot about my dad tonight. Thought about my family and how excited my father would have been that we got to do it again in Arrowhead. That's what he would have liked best about it.
Clark, we appreciate your time. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thank you.
Kansas City Chiefs Chairman and CEO Clark Hunt live here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Next up will be Brett Veach, so we'll hear from the Chiefs General Manager in mere moments. The Chiefs bringing out all the dignitaries as we celebrate their second consecutive AFC Championship. We'll go out to Arrowhead as soon as Brett Veach is at the microphone. Sounds like he's very near, and we'll do it right now. Here's the GM of the Chiefs, Brett Veach.
And the Hunt family for all their support and everything they do, Mark, Andy. Last year, we certainly had the opportunity to show the league what type of talent we had on the field, and I think this year we got to show them what type of talent we have in the organization to get through this season with all the adversity. Everyone just chipping in. Our trainers are phenomenal. Our training staff, the facilities people, the grounds crew. It's been challenging, but we're certainly blessed to have the talent we have top down. So thanks to all those guys for their support throughout the season, and it's a blessing to work here and work for them. So that I'll take your questions.
We'll go first to Sam Mellinger. Go ahead, Sam.
Hey, Brett, you guys have been pretty open and consistent with the run it back thing, right? There's some organizations that might look at that as like, oh, that's a little bit much. I just always got the feeling that you guys saw that as a way to sort of stay focused, stay motivated. Am I right about that? What was your view of that part of it?
Yeah, I think so. And I mean, look, we have a great locker room, and when you have guys like Teicher Matthew and Pat Mahomes on each side of the football, those guys are going to demand attention to detail, just like the head coach. So our guys embraced it. They love being not, I guess in years past, we were the hunters, but they embraced being the hunted, and they love that challenge. And these guys are always looking for ways to motivate themselves. So that was another way to do that.
Let's go next to Nate Taylor. Go ahead, Nate.
Hey, Brett, I'm just interested from your perspective, just obviously accomplishing this. Obviously, you need guys who are putting the roster to play well, guys like L'Jarius Sneed, Nick Allegretti, Mike Remmers, and obviously Darrell Williams, obviously playing in the postseason for the first time. Can you just explain how rewarding it is to give those guys a chance to have success alongside, obviously, the stars?
Yeah, well, we say it every year going into the draft in the offseason. These are long seasons. These are week in, week out. It's tough to win games. Long seasons, battle of attrition, and it's not a question of if, but when the next guy's got to step up. So we really take a lot of pride in building the roster, and certainly we have superstars at the top. But we know as the season goes on, as you mentioned, Nate, guys like Mike Remmers and Darrell Williams. I mean, those guys keep seasons going, and those guys are going to be called upon. And you never know when, but these guys train, they prepare, and they work their tails off. But certainly, we know how important depth is in this league, and that's why I think our staff does such a great job of being aggressive at any point, not just free agency in the first round of the draft, but just staying active throughout the course of the calendar year.
Go next to Adam Teicher. Go ahead, Adam.
Hey, Brett, congratulations.
Thanks,
I'll have a couple things for you here. First of all, when did you know that Pat was not just going to play, but play as well as he did tonight? And after all he had to overcome this week. And Brad, I'll have one quick follow-up.
Really just the dialogue I had with Rick throughout the week. And I mean, you guys know Pat as well as anyone throughout the country. Just I mean, he's a competitor, and I think he has that ability to kind of work through pain, and you see it really throughout his career, whether he had a shoulder, an ankle, a knee. I mean, shoot, the guy came back last year after dislocating his kneecap, and I think 2 days later he was in the pool doing drops. So you knew there wasn't going to be really anything to keep him off the field, and if he was cleared medically, that he would manage the pain in the toe. And I think he had some pain afterwards, but you knew once he put the helmet on out there, he was going to give you everything he had, and he certainly did that tonight.
And as you were building this team, when did you start thinking in terms of multiple championships rather than just the one, if that makes any sense? I know you take nothing for granted. I get that part of it. But I'm just wondering when, Clark kind of alluded to this when you guys were building this, that maybe there was going to be an opportunity for more than just one. And I'm just kind of wanted to get into your thinking on that.
Yeah, I think the approach that we have is we had a good core and a good nucleus with Pat and Chris and Tyron and I think our mindset was to just fill in as much talent as we could, and we knew. I mean, I think when you have a Hall of Fame coach and you have the best player in the National Football League, that you're going to have a chance to win every game. So I think we know that there's a good chance we'll be able to go out there and compete week in and week out, and it's just a matter of filling out the depth of that roster and making sure that when we do run into some issues throughout the course of the season, that we're prepared from a depth standpoint, and that's the challenge. And certainly this year with COVID, there was even more challenges. But again, go back to just the strength of the organization on all levels. It really pays dividends when you have a season like we have this year.
The last to Herbie Teope. Go ahead, Herbie.
Hey, Brett, congratulations on the win.
Thanks, Herbie.
Just a quick follow-up to Nate Taylor's earlier question on L'Jarius Sneed. you obviously thought well enough of him to draft him, but when did you know at what point this season that you actually had something special with him?
Well, really, I guess, it was early on. The first few starts, he's, I'll tell you what, we certainly got fortunate. I think had they had one of these draft do-overs, I mean, you can make a case for Jarvis being selected in the first round. So I guess we were maybe lucky, more lucky than smart with that one, because he probably, in retrospect, shouldn't have been there in the fourth round. But again, Steve and his staff, I mean, Steve has a great feel. Dave Merritt and Sam Madison are phenomenal as well. Steve has a really good eye. And I remember talking to Steve during draft process and going back and watching the Jaguars a couple of years ago when he played corner as opposed to safety his final year at La Tech. And but the talent's there, and that's the cool thing about working here as general manager. If the talent's there, the coaches will get it out of them, whether it be Coach Reed and his staff, Coach Bieniemy his staff, and we just got great coaches that find a way to put these players in position to make plays, and they certainly have done that with LJ, and he's been phenomenal all year.
Right, we appreciate your time. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks. Chiefs General Manager Brett Veach live here on Sports Radio 810 WHB Kansas City. I'm Joshua Briscoe here on the Sports Radio 810 WHB postgame show. It's presented by CBD American Shaman. Free CBD samples every day. We'll continue to bring you all the audio live from the podium, waiting to hear news on who is next as we line up the rest of the show. Again, we'll get to calls in a little bit, try to take some comments over the course of the rest of the show as well. But first, we need to sneak in one more early commercial break. More Sports Radio 810 WHB postgame show recapping the Chiefs' AFC Championship ceiling 38-24 win over the Buffalo Bills.
Chiefs postgame, brought to you by Casey's own CBD American Shaman. Come on into your local shaman store for a free sample of stress-sacking CBD. Everything is better with the feather.
Stop in at Mr. Brew's Tap House in downtown Overland Park or Lawrence this weekend to watch all the NFL playoff action. Overland Park and Lawrence's newest pubs are having great specials for the big games. Get any signature burger and a side of house-cut fries for just $8.10. Plus, get one of their fantastic pretzels or pub grub, also just $8.10. The 810 specials are good all day this Saturday and Sunday. Mr. Brew's Tap House has over 30 beers on tap and multiple TVs to catch all the games. So stop in this weekend to watch the NFL and take advantage of the 810 specials. Mr. Brew's Tap House in downtown Overland Park and Lawrence.
Are you paying too much for term life insurance? There's a tremendous price war among the major term life companies. Rates have dropped dramatically in the past few years. For example, a man age 45 non-tobacco user, $1 million of coverage, $75 per month level rate for the next 10 years. Or a man age 50 non-tobacco can obtain $500,000 of coverage for a monthly premium of only $110 per month, guaranteed not to change for the next 20 years. That's right, level rate guaranteed not to change for the next 20 years. If you're a smoker, we have great rates available for you as well. At Termbusters, we specialize in policies of $500,000 and above. If you're looking for new or replacement term life insurance, call today for a quote at 1-800-569-5440. That's 1-800-569-5440. You're probably paying more than you should. Call Termbusters, 1-800-569-5440, or visit our website at termbusters.net. Remember, 1-800-569-5440. Rates and availability may vary by state. Sample rate quotes based on preferred non-tobacco underwriting. Exam required to qualify.
When the unexpected comes calling, bounce forward with Comcast Business. Bounce forward fast with internet speeds up to a gig. And bounce forward with the flexibility to update your bandwidth in just a few clicks. Get started with a reliable internet and voice solution from Comcast Business, starting at $64.90 a month for 12 months with a 2-year agreement. Call or go online today. Restrictions apply. New customers only with 35 megabits per second service and 1 voice line. Early termination fee applies. Equipment, installation, taxes, and fees extra and subject to change. Call for details.
Playoff season is here, and you'll score big at Robert Brogdon Buick GMC. Save thousands below MSRP and get 0% for up to 72 months on most new Buick and GMCs. There's a huge selection, including the 2021 GMC Sierra. Plus, they have over 200 used cars, trucks, and SUVs. Rush to Kansas City's highest volume Buick GMC dealer on I-35 in Santa Fe and Olathe, or at robertbrogdon.com. On select models must qualify and finance through GMF for special financing. See dealer for details.
Congratulations, Kansas City, conference champions. Get to Dick's Sporting Goods and gear up with officially licensed Chiefs t-shirts, hats, hoodies, and more. Select area Dick's Sporting Goods stores are open now and will reopen at 6 a.m. Be the first fan around your home, work, or school to show off your gear. We have everything you need to show off your team pride. Come early for the best selection or shop online at Dicks.com with free shipping on championship products. Every season starts at Dick's.
Greg Gurley here for Buck Roofing. The only consistent thing about Kansas City weather is change. There's only one company I trust, and that's the same company I called to work on my mom's house, Buck Roofing. Put this number in your phone, 913-384-2680. I'm a Jayhawk, and we know Ron's a Wildcat. The only thing we both agree on is Buck Roofing is the best roofer in all of Kansas City. Your home is probably your biggest investment, which is why you need a trusted roofing company to repair or replace your roof, and that company is Buck Roofing. When Ron Buck and his team repair or replace your roof, you know they will be here years from now to take care of anything you need for the life of your roof. Need a little help with financing? Buck Roofing can arrange that as well. For all your repair and replacement needs, call Buck Roofing, 913-384-2680, or online at rbuckroofing.com. Sleep well knowing Buck Roofing fixed the roof over your head.
Rock your home with new tops from Kansas City's best countertop fabricator, Rock Tops. They custom fabricate and install stone surfaces that will make you fall in love with your home. Making homes look incredible is Rock Tops' thing. Being nice just comes naturally. Rock Tops offers carry-out samples and virtual or in-home appointments. Call 913-782-0802 or go to rocktopskc.com. Mention 810 Rocks to receive 10% off right now.
LMC Truck, located right here in Kansas City, offers quality parts and accessories for Chevy, GMC, Ford, and Dodge trucks, SUVs, and vans. Just go to lmctruck.com. LMC Truck, keeping generations on the road.
Last year, Kansas City beat Tennessee 35-24 in the AFC Championship game, trying to do it back-to-back years. Rush coming. Mahomes floats it. Wide open. Kelsey. Touchdown. Kansas City. An incredible combination. Mahomes to Kelsey. And the Chiefs are running away with it.
The Tully touchdown of the game, presented by Tullamore Dew Irish Whiskey. Tullamore Dew is the original triple blended, smooth sipping Irish whiskey made exactly for these great moments in fandom. Please drink Tullamore Dew responsibly.
Welcome back into the Sports Radio 810 WHP postgame show. We head back out to Arrowhead Stadium. Linebacker Anthony Hitchens is the podium.
It's a lot easier when Chris Jones is really playing well. Seems like that was the case tonight. How did you see his game, and how did it help things out for the rest of your defense?
Yeah, I mean, Chris is unstoppable like 90% of the time, man. He's a big, fast, strong, quick, human. There's not too many guys in this league that, can block him or wants to block him for that matter. And from first snap to the last snap, he was going, hard and 110, and that's what we need. It's the playoffs, man. Your best players got to play well, and I think as a team, we did that.
I'll go last to Matt Derrick. Go ahead, Matt.
Hey, Anthony, 3 seasons in Kansas City. You've gone to 3 AFC title games, 2 Super Bowls. What has this all meant for you, and what's been the importance to you of coming to Kansas City for your life and your career?
Yeah, I think when I'm done, I look back and reminisce and all that stuff. But right now, I'm just staying in the moment. It's hard to really look back to be like, yeah, 3 this and then chance for 2 rings and things like that. I'm just staying in the moment. Like, all I'm focused on right now is how to get better on this bye week and then leading up to the game to get a win. And maybe this offseason I'll look back on it and things like that. But to be honest, I'm one of those guys that just stay in the moment. I have to do that. I don't look forward. I don't look back. Good plays or bad plays or good seasons or bad seasons and things like that. I feel like that's what helped me get to 7 years and going on 8 next year, is just staying in the moment, stay in, in that moment and then try to just do your best, at that time. So yeah, I'll probably look back when I'm done. Right now, my head's down and I'm grinding.
Hitch, we appreciate your time. Thanks for joining us.
All right, thank you guys.
Chiefs linebacker Anthony Hitchens live here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. He really took a lot of flack, especially those first couple of years here in Kansas City, and I think this year more than ever, we saw the impact of having him in the middle of that defense and being able to set everyone up, know exactly what's supposed to happen. An excellent performance from the Chiefs defense today. Obviously, in large part because of safety Tyrann Mathieu. He'll be at the podium momentarily. Actually, he's there right now. Here's the Honey Badger.
Aaron Ladd. Go ahead, Aaron.
Congrats on the win. I think the message from everybody has been, it's a good win. It's glad to be here, but the job's not done yet. How do you kind of stay even keel as you cross off one of the big goals on the bucket list coming into the season?
It's all about team, man. Long as we stay committed to the team, long as we stay committed to our process, continuing to trust our coaches, believe in those guys, everything else will take care of itself. It's not really about, individually how we feel. The only thing that matters at the end of the day is whether you won or lost the game. Obviously, it was a great win for us. Job not done, though. We got one more game to go, and so we'll be ready for it.
Let's go next to Jory Epstein. Go ahead, Jory.
Tyron, obviously y'all have time to prepare for Tampa, but Brett Veach talked specifically about how your leadership gives him confidence in this defense. What gives you the most confidence about why y'all are ready for Brady and the Bucs?
It's all about preparation. It's all about, the information that you're able to take in and then take it to the field. It's all about understanding and believing in your coaches, all about believing in their plan, the game plan. And then from there, it's all about us going out there, trying to execute that game plan. And, you're not always in the best position. Sometimes, we got to go above the X's and O's to make a play. But, it's all about team. It's all about our coaches.
Go next to Herbie TOP. Go ahead, Herbie.
Hey, Tyron, during the week, you had mentioned how dangerous these Bills receivers were, but it seems like there was a concerted effort today to take away Stephon Diggs. What went into the plan to take away Diggs?
Well, I felt like for the most part, we ran our, same defense that we've been running, for the last couple of weeks or so. Obviously, he's a great receiver. So, great receivers require you to double them from time to time. But at the end of the day, I thought Travarius Ward, I thought Brashard Breeland, Rashad Fenton, L'Jarius Sneed, Dan Sorensen was covering wide receivers today. So I kind of, I had a day off in my mind. It's good to see those guys step up, and win their one-on-one matchups. And that's what it's all about, man. It's all about technique. It's all about leverage, and just making the plays that come to you.
We'll take three more. Adam, Nate, and then Vahe. Go ahead, Adam.
Hey, Tyron, a couple things. First of all, on Pat, he had a lot to overcome this week. When did you know, not that he was just going to play, but that he was going to play as well as he did today? And Brad, I'll have one follow-up as well.
I knew after the last game, when he was in the locker room, and, he had that look in his eye like, don't forget about me. He's a great talent, man. He's a better teammate. He's a better person. Just watching him work throughout the week, he was the same old Pat. He's the same teammate, same leader. Moving around, trying to extend plays, even in practice. Then on top of that, he's a gamer. So it doesn't necessarily matter the situation or the circumstances. He tends to rise above all of that.
I'm curious what your realistic expectations were when you signed here. Did you think that you weren't just going to get a shot at a Super Bowl and a championship, but multiple Super Bowls and maybe multiple championships?
I didn't, to be honest, man, obviously, you have big time dreams, you have big time goals. Obviously, it was a great football team before I got here. Obviously, you want to compete for a championship, but the only expectation I had, man, was to come in and, show the guys who I am, day to day. And so it's 2 years later and, practice, still means the most to me. Game day is just it's fun, but, for me, it's all about practice. It's all about how I prepare and how I get my teammates prepared. So, but I'd probably say, that was my only expectation, man, was to come in here, work hard, understanding that, we had a great team, a great coaching staff, and a lot of those things take care of themselves.
We'll go last to Nate Taylor. Go ahead, Nate.
Hey, Tyron, I know you guys are back-to-back champions and you've won 24 of 25 before today, but was there a sense in the locker room that guys were still motivated by some naysayers out there that were obviously either picking the Bills or weren't confident that you guys had the chance to go back to Super Bowl based on, winning close games instead of, the traditional blowout that you had tonight?
Obviously, man, we live in a social media world and, the TVs are always on. Some places got 30 TVs in one building, so, you hear a lot, you see a lot. I think at the end of the day for us, man, it's all about team. It's all about whether or not we're committed to each other. It's not necessarily about any outside noise. Just looking through the locker room, looking around the locker room, everybody believes in each other. It doesn't matter if it's Pat Mahomes out there or Chad Henne. It doesn't matter if we're throwing a deep ball to Tyreek Hill or, DeMarcus Robinson. I think in everybody's mind, it's our play to make. So, it's just good to have that bond. It's good to have that chemistry, man. I think that's what keeps great teams going, is that commitment to one another.
Tyron, we appreciate your time. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Chief safety Tyrann Mathieu, the honey badger, the landlord, one of the captains of this defense, and one of the guys who deserves a ton of credit for the way this defense was turned around. I hate to keep going back to the 2018 AFC Championship game, but that team's defense struggled in so many ways. To see it turn around and become one of the strengths of this offense, or of this team. The offense is clearly the star of the show. Patrick Mahomes is the star of the show, but it is darn good. And I think Tyrann Mathieu deserves as much credit as just about anybody. He, Spags, Chris Jones. Frank Clark also has made some plays. He showed up later in the game today. We'll hear from him momentarily. In fact, I think we're going to hear from him live from Arrowhead right now. Frank Clark here on Sports Radio 810.
Hey, Frank, congratulations. You guys are having a lot of fun now. It got a little ugly out there in the second half. It got a little chippy out there. Was that just kind of what happens in the course of one of these games when it's do or die for another team? And it's all good, though, with everyone?
Yeah, it's always good, man. Emotions is high. Games start kind of getting out of hand at the end. You start – I don't know the feeling of the other team, but I know us personally, getting excited. Just trying to close the game out, finish strong. You know what I mean? That's all. You watch it in football all the time when, you planning for these type of things. You planning for a trip to the Super Bowl, so emotions running high, emotions everywhere and stuff like that. But we kept it together enough to make it off the field into the locker room and hold the trophy. So I think that's all that matters.
Go next to Pete Sweeney. Go, Pete.
Hey, Frank, congratulations. Thinking back to the season and just the year, just how satisfying was it with everything on the line here, being able to register the 2 sacks in big spots tonight?
I'm just happy to be able to do everything I can for my team. Honestly, I don't really count numbers and stuff like that, man. I've been successful in this league individually for a long time now. Just doing what I have to do, man. I know how important it is, for this on this tour that we on, man, to get back to this position that we in now. And like I said, I sacrifice a lot, man. And just to be able to go out there, man, my coaches put faith and trust in me. Got all the faith in the world with Spags calling plays. And that's all it is with us, man.
We got 2 more. We'll go Sam and then Aaron. Go ahead, Sam.
Hey, Frank. Congrats, man. We talk a lot about just X's and O's and the talent that you guys have. I'm wondering, especially since you've been part of 2 franchises, can you put sort of a measurement on what kind of role just the personality of this team and the personalities within the locker room contribute to what you guys do?
Yeah, it's not, I don't want to throw no shade on nobody else or, my former team I played for or nothing like that. But it's just, here it's you got a group of guys that want to play for the coach and they want to play for each other. You know what I mean? When you're out there and you got to make a sacrifice for the next man, he might not be feeling too well or he might be a little banged up or something. You understand this. It's the things the media don't really understand that's going on within that brotherhood and that locker room. And it's like sometimes you got to step up and make sacrifices. Sometimes you got to make sacrifices that you probably wouldn't necessarily make. It can be a play call. It can be, a situation. It can be, the way the dynamics of the game is going. You watching the beginning of the game today, it kind of looked shaky in the beginning. Defense, we getting stops. We getting, forcing them to kick field goals and stuff. We get the muff punt, whatever. And it kind of looks shaky. As it should. It's a championship football game. That's what you want to see. I keep people watching too. So stuff. I don't know if Cole did that on purpose, but it keep people watching. It keep them on the edge of their seats and stuff like that too. So you know what I mean, man. Little Chiefs football for you. Keep you on the edge of your seats.
We'll last to Aaron Ladd. What, Aaron?
I think we heard a few weeks back Chase Young say that he wants Tom Brady. He wants Tom. You have a message for the GOAT headed into the Super Bowl?
Nah, I ain't got nothing to say to him. I'll see his ass on Sunday in the Super Bowl.
Frank, we appreciate your time. Thanks for joining us.
Appreciate y'all.
A perfect punctuation for Frank Clark here on Sports Radio 810. I like that. I like that answer a lot. Not really anything to say for him. We'll see his ass in the Super Bowl. All right, Frank. I bet you will. I'm excited for that. I imagine everyone else is as well. That's a good answer from Frank Clark. That's always good to hear from him. A couple quick stats here as we wait for probably more audio from the podium, I imagine. We haven't heard from Travis Kelce yet. I imagine we'll probably hear from him. I've not even kept track of who has spoken at this point and who is still supposed to. Here's a tweet from Rich Eisen, though. As if Tom Brady versus Patrick Mahomes isn't special enough, this will be the first Super Bowl matchup between the previous 2 winning quarterbacks of the Super Bowl ever. Travis Kelce at the podium now. Let's go back out live to Arrowhead.
Hey, Travis, congratulations, man.
Thank you, brother. Thank you, man. Feels good, dog.
No doubt, no doubt. I want to ask you a little bit about football. Awesome touchdown catch you had. I was hoping you kind of walk me through the concept and what happened. It looked like mesh, but like, what did you see and what happened on the play?
Well, there's actually a pretty familiar route concept for a lot of people in the red zone. You can get a lot of people mixed up in the play action and the wash of what's really going on in the backfield. And then you put me and Tyreek, one in the back of the end zone, one in the front of the end zone, and hope that one of us can win our matchups, thinking that it's a man coverage. And sure enough, everybody forgot about me, so I was just wide open. I'll tell you what, though, man, it's always just a little bit awkward when Pat puts it up like that, man, because you're open, but you don't know how open you are. So it's just waiting for that thing to come down. Felt like it took forever.
Go next to Adam Teicher. Go ahead, Adam.
Hey, Travis, when did you know this week that not only Pat was going to play, but he was going to play and be the Pat that you know? When did you know that was something you saw in practice, anything like that?
Honestly, I left the game last week to see his excitement for the win in the locker room. I know he had to go through protocols and all of that, but he never seemed like he wasn't himself. He never seemed like there was ever a doubt in his mind that he was going to play in this game. And I think it was just kind of letting everything play out in terms of the protocols or the concussion protocol. And but he was out there dialed in, throwing the ball all over the field and making the right decisions. And sure enough, today, man, he played his A game and led us to the Super Bowl, man.
The last two, Steve and then Matt. What's Steve?
Hey, what's up, Trav? Hey,
Hold on, Steve.
Not much. We all know you're a veteran in this league, right? But week to week, no matter who is guarding you, it seems like you still find a way to consistently be a problem for defenses. How is it that it looks like you're still getting better, man, or is it all just routine for you?
That's all I know how to do is attack the day, find a weakness or find something that I can get better at when I'm in the building, when I'm out on the practice field. When I watch film, I'm my worst critic, man. I tell myself I'm a scrub all the time when I see myself not doing something the right way or getting locked up. And there were a few plays out here, man. That's a good football team right there. Don't let the score, get it twisted. That team can play some football. I think we just had the quarterback back there that could make all the right plays and all the right throws. And sure enough, today he was just flawless. And it led us to victory.
Last to Matt Derrick. Go ahead, Matt.
Hey, Travis, congratulations.
Thank you.
Last year was really emotional for you, going through from the AFC title game all the way to the parade. It was a big deal. Is this year different? Is the emotional, where you are right now, mindset-wise, different than it was a year ago right now?
Man, I think it's different in a way of I can't really put my finger on it, man. It's almost like it's a little bit more exciting. I feel like last year it was a question of whether or not we belonged, and this year it was let's go out and prove to ourselves that we are who we are, and the resiliency, the how we're gonna handle adversity. I just love this team, man. This team has helped me in life in so many different ways, just because of how we handle adversity and how we win football games, and how we just keep getting better. And I love it here, man. I can't wait to go down to Tampa in 2 weeks and give them our best shot.
Travis, we appreciate the time. Thanks for joining us.
Have a good night, guys.
Chiefs tight end Travis Kelce live here on Sports Radio 810. Funny to hear both from him and Tyrann Mathieu about how they knew that Patrick Mahomes would be playing in this game after the game last week. They could see it coming. Obviously a good sign then, and a great result now as the Chiefs are headed to their second consecutive Super Bowl. One more player coming to the podium, Nicole Hardman, who had the worst start you could pretty much have in an NFL game. Looked like he may spend the rest of the game in the doghouse, and then it ended up being a huge game for the young Chiefs receiver and return man. So we will hear from Nicole Hardman as the last of the Chiefs from the podium before we get to Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. Here's Nicole Hardman.
Goodbye.
Hey, Nicole, congratulations.
I wonder if you could take us through after the punt return, what you were going through and what Patrick said to you on the sideline, and if that mattered, if that helped you.
I don't know what's going through my head, man. Just, a dumb mistake on my part. Could have been better, but, like Pat, and the other guys, just like, keep your head up. It's a long game. Got a lot of more plays to make, and we're going to need you down the stretch. And that was that.
Go next to Pete Sweeney. Good, Pete.
Hey, Nicole, congratulations. It seems like the general theme of the team tonight has just been dissatisfaction, just not satisfied yet. A little bit different than last year's AFC title game. Just how much do you feel that is throughout the locker room, that there's just so much more to do and make sure you win 2 weeks from now?
I think this team, I think we just have a goal in mind, and we all want to achieve that goal, and no matter what it takes. And I think we just a group of guys that want to be perfect, and strive for their perfection. And no matter how we do it, it's like we could have did that better. You know what I'm saying? We could have did this better. And we left too many plays out there. I think it just, we always trying to improve on everything we do. And I think that's what kind of like separates us. And, I think we're going to take that kind of same mentality into 2 weeks from now to the Super Bowl.
Go 2 more. We'll go Todd and then Herbie. Go ahead, Todd.
Hey, Nicole, we don't get to be in the locker room with you guys during the week or after the games anymore. Last year, it struck me that you guys were so close and so tight. How has this year been a little bit different with the way you guys have to go about your business doing things? And has that in an odd way maybe even brought you closer together, that you guys have had to endure all this other stuff besides just football?
I don't know. I think with the pandemic and, changing a lot of things, it's more so like it just – you can't use that as an excuse, if that makes sense. I don't think we use that as an excuse. And I think it actually did bring us together closer because we had to take care of each other. You know what I'm saying? Like, we couldn't go out there and do things we usually do and bring that into the locker room, with everybody and, causing people to miss games and stuff like that. And I think we did a real good job of that this year and protecting each other and did bring us together because we all had to be, all locked in and on one page, and I think we did a great job of that, and we're gonna continue to do that going into the Super Bowl. And I think, I think that's how we did things.
We'll go last to Herbie Top. Go ahead, Herbie.
Hey, Nicole, to quickly follow up on Vahe's first question there. You had mentioned that your teammates stuck by you, but what did it mean to you that they still called the plays for you, and how gratifying was it for you that you scored that touchdown and had that 50-yard run?
My teammates always going, they're gonna be with me. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna keep me up. They're gonna keep me motivated, and and make sure I don't have my head down. And I was still mentally intact, so it wasn't that. But it's also good to know the coaches, still have confidence in you, to call some plays for you, to make things happen in the game. And the type of player I am, I'm gonna try to take advantage of the opportunities that I get. And I still got all the more confidence in the world back there returning punt. So I'm still, they still kicking the ball out of bounds even after the muff. They still muffing kicks after the muff. So they tell you they still respect me back there, and I'm just still waiting, for that chance to, to make up for what I did this game. And then, I think going to the Super Bowl is kind of, it's going to be one of those games like, hey, I'm coming to make a statement. So,
Nicole, we appreciate the time. Thanks for joining us.
Chiefs wide receiver Nicole Hardman live here on Sports Radio 810. That is the train of guys talking at the podium live here on 810. We'll get to Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid momentarily. We'll take a break in a second as well. But Butch has been on hold here for a minute now, and I want to get Butch in before we take a quick break. Butch, thank you for waiting. Talk to him, Butch.
Gentlemen, how about those Chiefs?
How about them, Butch?
I mean, Joshua, it's a 53-man active roster, 29 coaches for this team, and a general manager, Brett Veach, and his staff who've done as good of a job as any team could possibly do. And, these men, they set out with one goal. They get together and they say, how can we make it back? Knowing what's up against us, knowing that everyone wants to get to us and get to where we're trying to be. One goal, to get back to the Super Bowl with a chance to win it, and to take every team's best shot, to lose players, to lose some of those men that were in the locker room with you, to lose fans during a pandemic who were rooting for this team, and to make it through it, to beat all of the odds, to get everyone's number. They truly are one of the best to have ever done it, even if they don't win this game. I'm just so proud to be a Chiefs fan, man. We got to savor the flavor. Did you see that, Pop? Dad? You see that up there? They're headed back to the dance, baby.
Butch, I appreciate the call as always. I look forward to talking to you again in a couple of weeks. Let's take a break here on Sports Radio 810. I'm Joshua Briscoe. More Chiefs, more breaking down the AFC Championship game. As Butch points out, in the most unusual and the most difficult of seasons, the Chiefs didn't just run it back all the way back to a Super Bowl in Florida. Not will they just have another chance to win another Super Bowl in Florida, but doing it in 2020, spilling into 2021. An absolutely remarkable achievement. And something I'm very glad to get to continue talking about. We'll do it on the other side of this break.
You're listening to live postgame coverage on Kansas City's home for the National Football League. Sports Radio 810 WHB. Every weekday on Sports Radio 810, tune in to hear Kansas City's favorite local lineup. At 6 a.m., wake up with the Border Patrol with Stephen St. John and Nate Bucati. At 10, it's The Zone with Jason Anderson. Now at 2, get into the program with Soren Petro. And wrap up your day on Almost Entirely Sports with Joshua Briscoe. Kansas City's hometown sports station. Sports Radio 810 WHB.
When the unexpected comes calling, bounce forward with Comcast Business. Bounce forward fast with internet speeds up to a gig. And bounce forward with the flexibility to update your bandwidth in just a few clicks. Get started with a reliable internet and voice solution from Comcast Business, starting at $64.90 a month for 12 months with a 2-year agreement. Call or go online today. Restrictions apply. New customers only with 35 megabits per second service and 1 voice line. Early termination fee applies. Equipment, installation, taxes, and fees extra and subject to change. Call for details.
Right now, it's more important than ever to support local businesses. And 23rd Street Brewery in Lawrence is open and ready to take care of you. Make 23rd Street Brewery part of your KU game day experience, whether you watch the game there or grab curbside pickup for your tailgates or watch parties.
But not just game days. 23rd Street Brewery is great any day of the week, and when the weather's nice, you can take advantage of their heaters on the patio. 23rd Street Brewery is open daily from 11:30 to 9 for dine-in, carry-out, curbside pickup, and can even help with your catering needs.
Visit the 23rd Street Brewery for Restaurant Week specials now through January 26th.
Hey KC, Jeff Badine from Mercedes-Benz of Kansas City. Thanks to you, our loyal customers, 2020 was the best year in our history. We're celebrating with our certified pre-owned event month. Get 1.99% financing and we'll even make your first 2 payments. Rosa & Rosa premium vehicles to choose from. You can afford your dream car at Mercedes-Benz of Kansas City. Visit us online today at mbfkc.com. Mercedes-Benz of Kansas City, 1/2 mile east of State Line Road on Highway 150. Minutes from everywhere.
Financing with approved credit, 36 months, MBFS, ends 1/31/20. 2 payments up to $1,500, select CPO months.
At Mercedes-Benz of Kansas City, the executive loaner fleet is a cut above the norm, featuring an assortment of 2020 Mercedes-Benz models. Now, combine that with 1.99% financing on most of the executive loaner cars, and you have a golden opportunity to make your next vehicle a Mercedes-Benz. Need more incentives? They need your trade-in. So go see your next car at Mercedes-Benz of Kansas City, 1/2 mile east of State Line on Highway 150, or online at mbofkc.com. With approved credit, see dealer for details.
At Central Bank of the Midwest, we are focused on building strong communities across Kansas City. I'm Bill Ferguson, President and CEO. Our strong roots began more than 100 years ago in the heart of the Midwest and continue today across 5 states and 67 communities. Central Bank of the Midwest brings you the best of both worlds, a strong community bank with the resources and technology to deliver a legendary banking experience. Central Bank of the Midwest, strong roots, endless possibilities. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
LMC Truck, located right here in Kansas City, offers quality parts and accessories for Chevy, GMC, Ford, and Dodge trucks, SUVs, and vans. At lmctruck.com, their website features the same detailed interactive artwork as the catalog. Restoring old memories or just getting started on new ones, LMC Truck is here to help. They are more than just parts. Trucks are a lifestyle. They understand that. LMC Trucks helps you live it. Just go to lmctruck.com. LMC Truck, keeping generations on the road.
Hi, this is Bob Scott, store director from Henhouse Markets. We want to take a moment to thank all the 810 listeners who have supported us throughout the years. We look forward to continuing to support you and the communities we serve for years to come. From our Henhouse family to yours, thank you so much.
Hi, this is Philip Sternad, the general manager of the Hilton President Hotel. We just wanted to thank all the 810 listeners for their support throughout the year. It's been a tough year, but we're looking forward to a better 2021, and we can't wait to see you all down here in the Power and Light District and here at the Hilton President Hotel.
Whether you're looking for energy savings for the winter or updating your home office or man cave, One Stop Decorating is the place for beautiful energy-efficient window coverings. One Stop Decorating offers free in-home or virtual consultations, or you can come into one of their 3 beautiful showrooms to see all the window coverings in their Hunter Douglas galleries. Ask about smart shades that can be controlled by Google, Alexa, and HomeKit. 913-270-0408, 913-270-0408, or onestopdecorating.com. Your home, your windows, your style.
Hi, I'm Fred Ramsey.
And I'm Mark Tobin. Hey, folks, if you're not busy Saturday mornings from 6 to 7 a.m., well, I hope you'll join us for the Midwest Outdoors, brought to you by Reed Chevrolet, St. Joe.
Join us and our expert guests, and we'll be talking about hunting and fishing, dog training. We'll give you tips, pass along stories, and most important, share some laughs along the way.
That's right. We cover it all, from crappie to waterfowl, and we'll tell you how to cook it, too.
The Midwest Outdoors, brought to you by Reed Chevrolet, Saturday morning, 6 a.m. to 7 a.m., right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Kansas City looking to get on the board. 2nd and goal from the 3. Kelsey motion man from right to left. 2 receivers to the left. Mahomes will throw it to that left side. Catch made, acceleration, into the end zone. Touchdown, Nicole Hardman. The Chiefs strike back.
The key drive of the game brought to you by LMC Truck. LMC Truck offers quality parts and accessories for Chevy, GMC, Ford, and Dodge trucks, SUVs, and vans. LMC Truck, keeping generations on the road.
The Kansas City Chiefs are en route to run it back as they will head to Tampa in 2 weeks for their chance to win back-to-back Super Bowls. It's back-to-back AFC championship games already, back-to-back AFC championships, no less. Not just appearing in 3 straight games, all 3 years for Patrick Mahomes. Absolutely incredible, the number of things that have already been record-breaking in his young career. So far, he's had an MVP and then a Super Bowl championship and Super Bowl MVP. Seems like the MVP will probably go to Aaron Rodgers. Coach of the Year will probably go to either Kevin Stefanski or Sean McDermott, who both fell to Andy Reid and the Chiefs. Offensive Player of the Year, who knows? Basically, every award that will be given out this year will go to someone other than a member of the Kansas City Chiefs, because they were expected to be here in a space like this, even though it is so difficult to make this work 2 years in a row. The San Francisco 49ers right now are in the process of talking themselves in to Matt Stafford, or who their next quarterback is going to be, because it's not going to keep being Jimmy G. They had injuries this year that kept them out of the playoffs entirely. The Buccaneers totally had an overhaul, obviously, bringing in Tom Brady. But if you look around the league, the amount of change that happens every single year it means there's turnover everywhere except for New England. Except for this year, there was also turnover in New England. Kansas City is not only at the mountaintop, they've done it 2 years in a row. They have no plans of going anywhere. It is an incredible run that we're watching here in Kansas City. I hope you're enjoying the post-game show here as well. It's all brought to you by CBD American Shaman. When Kansas City scores, you score big at your local CBD American Shaman. The Chiefs score is your percent off. They scored 38 points, so you get 38% off all day tomorrow. CBD American Shaman, life is better with the feather. We can start to hear right now from Chiefs head coach Andy Reid. Rudy said that Reid was in good spirits today, which makes a whole lot of sense. But the first thing that we need to hear is the opening statement from Andy Reid. Obviously not great news about Eric Fisher, as we previously mentioned. Let's hear what he has to say about the injuries today and the opening statement, as he has now won his 2nd consecutive AFC championship.
All right, on the injury front, so we had a couple guys get hurt. Fish, it doesn't look too good with his Achilles. Monty Watts has a head injury. and so does Snead. So I think those guys will be okay. I'm proud of our guys for the great job that they did. The exciting atmosphere. Fans were unbelievable. My hat goes off to all the people that allowed us to get to this position. Mark Donovan and his crew for allowing to have actual fans in the stadium the whole year and it being productive that way. And all the people that were involved in making that possible, starting with Clark Hunt on down for having a vision there. And so, and then listen, our fans were incredible as always. I mean, we don't have a lot of them in there, but they were extremely loud. And so we appreciate that too. Anyways, I thought it was a good team win. I thought all the coordinators, all three coordinators had a nice plan, and the coaches did a nice job with it, and then the players, most of all, believed in it and went out and executed and played their tail off. And so what a great opportunity for Kansas City and for the organization to have the opportunity of going back to Tampa and playing the home team there, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, in their stadium, which is the first time that's ever happened with a team. So listen, we're honored to be there, and we've got work to get done before we have an opportunity to get down there. So anyways, with that, by the way, I'm also very proud of where the Buffalo Bills are and Sean McDermott and the great job that he's done. It's great for the National Football League. It's great for the city of Buffalo to have the Bills back like they are. And they're a heck of a football team. And Sean's a big part of that, obviously. So anyways, with that, time yours.
Let's go first to Adam Teicher. Go ahead, Adam.
Hey, Andy, a couple things. Is Fisher's Achilles injury, is it a tear?
We think so. We haven't got that far with it, but it doesn't look good, I'll tell you.
So there's your injury update at the end there on Eric Fisher. Everything that Reed said about, leading up to that was excellent. But I will give you this on Fisher right now. It seems most likely that if he did in fact tear his Achilles, which is probably what Andy Reid is sort of indicating there, then Mike Remmers is probably your starting left tackle for the Super Bowl. Mitchell Schwartz, starting right tackle, has been out for the majority of the season. Andrew Wiley probably goes back to right tackle. You have Remmers at left, Wiley at right. Stefan Wisniewski comes in at right guard. You keep Allegretti at left guard. And then Austin Ryder, your center, is the only guy from that line who started in that spot at the beginning of the season. So a real war of attrition in the trenches there for the Chiefs, and will be super interesting to see what they are able to do in this next week, and really the next 2 weeks, obviously, preparing for Tampa Bay. More here from Andy Reid. He was asked when he knew that Patrick Mahomes was going to be truly good to go for this game, not just to play, but to play at the level that we expect of Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, I mean, listen, he came out and he practiced. He did a great job with it all week. He was on a limited basis early with the protocol that he was having to deal with. and yet he just kept positive with it. He did just what he told you guys he did. He stayed positive with every part of it, whether it was the toe, whether it was his head, the protocol, the things that he had to do with that. And, he worked his way through it. I'll tell you, I think the trainers and he had a good plan for the toe. I mean, that was an amazing looking thing after our last game, and how black and blue it was. And within a day, the trainers and Pat, with his diligence of taking care of business at his home too, with the game ready machine, they were able to get that swelling and the black and blue out, and which really allowed him to recover quite a bit quicker.
That's really interesting. A little more detail on the toe. It was reported this morning that it's a turf toe, and that ended up being a bigger issue over the course of this week than the concussion protocols were. And the report this morning was that he was wearing some sort of carbon fiber thing around his toe to protect it. He looked good out there. He looked really, really good. In fact, it looked the best that the Chiefs have in quite a while on both sides of the ball. Reid was asked how close he thinks this team is to truly reaching their ceiling at this point.
Listen, I mean, we got room to get better. I mean, we can improve. We had a couple of things that went a little haywacky today, but we stayed on course and we did a lot of good things. So we did more good things than bad things. But this job's a little bit like and I'm talking about players and coaches, like being a farmer. The work's never done. You can always work to get better and as a team. So that's what we're going to do here the next couple of weeks. We're playing a heck of a football team in the Buccaneers.
Things got a little hay-wacky today. I've never heard the phrase hay-wacky. I've heard things going haywire, things getting wacky. Things got a little hay-wacky today, and playing football is like being a farmer. Andy Reid giving out some wisdom today. It seemed like he had a little coaching wisdom for Nicole Hardman. He came out, muffed that punt, really just gifted 7 points, 6 points, I think, to the Bills. They missed the extra point, but gifted some points to Buffalo right then, and then Hardman, it continued to be a big part of the game offensively. Reid was asked how important it was to keep Hardman involved after that fumble and what he said to him.
Yeah, so listen, just bear down, focus in, man. Just watch it all the way into the tuck, basic fundamentals. And Dave is one who talked to him about all that and got him going. Greg Lewis talked to him. So, and then he was thrown back out there and given another chance. So, and he's made plays for the last couple of years since he's been here. He's made plays, and so that was, he had a muff and keep him in and let's go, right?
I mean, whenever you have guys that you believe can make plays for you, you try to keep them in situations where they can be out there making plays. Listen, Dave Tobe and Andy Reid both have really expressed confidence in Nicole Hardman, not just in their words, but in their actions, with some mistakes like that have shown up over his young career. So seeing them continue to stand by him didn't really surprise me. Seeing them continue to make a priority of going to him did, and it paid off. He was excellent whenever he was touching the ball offensively today, and again, it paid off both for him and for the Chiefs, for the offense as a whole. And this offense is better whenever Nicole Hardman is a working part of it, and clearly I was a little worried that might be the end of them at least going to him consistently today. They went back to him. He, again, rewarded them for that faith. We've heard a couple of times now, both from Reid earlier, from Clark Hunt earlier, from Butch's call earlier, about the fact that this is a season that has taken place during, you may have heard this phrase, unprecedented times. A season that has come with an unbelievable and unique number and type of challenges throughout, going through a global pandemic that has been obviously challenging to everything, everywhere, all at once. Andy Reid was asked about the normalcy that the Chiefs have brought to Kansas City, when really, for most people, for myself, the last main memory I had of a big pre-pandemic gathering was the parade. Now we're on the way to potentially another Super Bowl championship here in Kansas City.
Yeah, listen, I mean, we feel bad for the people that have suffered from this, and some have lost their lives, but we also know that a positive can come out of this, and something for people that are suffering a little bit to live for. And so I think that's been a real plus for the guys and for the city. I mean, and probably, listen, if you look at the National Football League right now, it's probably great for the nation, and it gives them hope. And that's right now, that's what we need. And stay safe and move forward.
And honestly, just to add a bit to that, the fact that this season has made it to this point, and things, it has not been a smooth ride necessarily, but this NFL season has played every scheduled game except for one so far. There's one remaining, happening in Tampa Bay 2 weeks from now. I mentioned earlier, whenever we heard from Anthony Hitchens and Frank Clark and Tyrann Mathieu, the Chiefs' defense really did some good work today. I mean, there was the onside kick that ended up leading to points, and the Bills were trying to make it a little closer at the end. But this game felt more or less over at 31-15, the final score being 38-24. And that was in large part thanks to the fact that the Chiefs were holding the Bills off in the red zone, and the Bills were foolishly, in my opinion, settling for field goals. Reid was asked about how the defense held the Bills to field goals in the red zone and the impact that had on the game.
Yeah, Pete, they've been like working their tail off to fix that problem. And so, I have a chance to watch it every day, and they've gone over it and over and over it. And I think they, that it's paid off for them, in particular in this game. So we got one more game to even get ourselves a little bit better at it. And that's what we'll work on.
I mean, listen, if they have this performance, they'll win the Super Bowl. I saw somebody in the in our comment feed. It's been moving pretty fast today, and I will also remind you one more time, you can watch the show, see me, see my great hoodie from the Sports Radio 810 WHB fan shop. You can see that at 810WHB.com. There's a link there and everything. You can watch the show on the Sports Radio 810 Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube channels, and that coverage is brought to you by Creative Planning, a nationally recognized Kansas City wealth manager. But you can interact there. As I saw some comments earlier, someone was saying, Josh, just say the Chiefs are going to win the Super Bowl. Just say it. I felt really good about the Chiefs winning this game. As of right now, I feel really good about them beating the Bucs. I'm not willing to predict it just yet. We're still 2 weeks out. Things obviously don't look good across the offensive line at the moment. But if the Chiefs perform defensively next week like they did today, I have faith in the offense doing this on a repeatable level, even though, again, the offensive line is going to be really, really, really challenged by especially the Buccaneers' front four. Getting pressure against Mahomes with four guys is a great recipe for making the offense a little bit more sputtering at moments. But right now, man, the defense looks so good today, and the offense did everything you expected of it. Who is beating that team? So far, the answer has been the Raiders once, and that game doesn't even matter anymore. I feel pretty good, especially seeing what the defense brought to the table today. It looked bad at the beginning, though. The Chiefs went down 9-0 with that muffed punt from Nicole Hardman. The Bills got a field goal of their own. Andy Reid talked about the mental resilience of the team to respond after going down 9-0 to start the game.
Yeah, listen, I think everybody knows, or on our team at least, they trust that we can score quickly if needed. And I mean, we always want to score. That sounds bad. I mean, but we need to do that sooner. I'm telling you that as a coach, but I think everybody has confidence that if we get behind, we've got enough power there to get it right and try to fix whatever problems we've had and put points on the board. So, I'm proud of the guys for that resiliency that they have. And we were able to put a couple points on the board tonight, and it worked out okay.
They bounced right back. They scored when they needed to. They scored a lot after that point and really never looked back. That game was not in doubt for very long after 9-0, which is a tremendous thing to be able to say. Now we are looking ahead to a Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes Super Bowl matchup. Andy Reid was asked about the overall magnitude of this matchup with these two quarterbacks and if you can appreciate it right now.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like we've had a couple of those, and every one of them is tremendous. And I wouldn't expect this to be any different. They got a tremendous team there. So, and those two have a lot of respect for each other. You remember when Tom came into the locker room after the championship game and talked to Patrick, and Patrick responded like, a young guy would respond to the GOAT. And so, we look forward to the opportunity to play them. And I know Pat does with Tom, and likewise Tom, I'm sure, does, with Pat. So should be a heck of a football game.
You wouldn't have heard me shedding any tears over an Aaron Rodgers, Patrick Mahomes Super Bowl, but this one does feel like it's going to come with a little extra weight because it is the guy that is so very much at the mountaintop and has been for so long, and the guy who is nearly at it himself. It should be a tremendous, tremendous matchup. Reid also talked more about Mahomes, which makes a lot of sense. He was asked what it says about Mahomes to be able to perform how he did tonight, knowing that he couldn't prepare as he normally would or play exactly the way that he is used to because he had to deal with that toe injury.
Yeah, well, listen, you guys are seeing him grow right in front of you here. So he's a homegrown right here in Kansas City for the National Football League part of it. And I think you're seeing the steps that he's taken. And I sit there and I'm an old guy that's seen a couple pretty good quarterbacks, and I just keep going. This guy seems to amaze me a little bit more every game. So I'm proud of the way he handles it most of all, though. He doesn't, you guys aren't writing stories of this guy's got a big head, this and that. He's showing people up, and no, he's about the team, and he's all in, and he works his tail off, and he does it the right way, which is important. It's important for longevity for his career, for success for the Kansas City Chiefs, and obviously now for the Super Bowl.
And he's getting back to the Super Bowl again right now for the second time in 3 years as a starter. Andy Reid's been at this a long time. I'm sure he knows how difficult this is to do. Patrick Mahomes might not know yet, because it's been an AFC Championship game and then 2 Super Bowl appearances in back-to-back years. They're playing just about as long as they can, just about as many games as possible over a 3-year span. Andy Reid was asked if he's able to put all of it into perspective now reaching back-to-back Super Bowls.
Well, I will when I get about 2 seconds to sit down. That's what I'm going to sit there and I'm going to go, doggone, how about this one? Vahe, man alive. This is better than, almost beating Miami that year when we were at Missouri. They were number 1 in the country, and we had them right there. It took Colorado. I'm bringing you back on history here. It took Colorado 5 downs to beat us. I remind Eric Bieniemy of that all the time. But I will when I have a chance to sit down and think about it, I'm sure. But we've got some work that we got to get done, and we understand that. The guys understand that.
Pretty good stuff there from Andy Reid, going back to Mizzou, Colorado, going back to Missouri and Miami, and hopefully now he's taken 2 seconds to sit down and appreciate the fact that this team is now on its way to a second Super Bowl in 2 years. Unbelievable. If you want to celebrate that along with the Chiefs, rally houses are open across Kansas City right now. They'll be open until midnight. You got another hour to get there and check out some of the AFC Championship merch. I believe that if any ones that aren't open in the surrounding areas should be open at the crack of 8 a.m. I was going to say crack of dawn. I don't know what time the sun comes up, but 8 a.m. Around the area. The Kansas City ones will open back up at 8 as well. Got a couple of weeks to wear those and get your AFC Championship gear in preparation for the second consecutive Super Bowl appearance for Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid, and the Kansas City Chiefs. This is the Sports Radio 810 WHB postgame show here on Sports Radio 810 WHB Kansas City. I'm Joshua Briscoe, and it's all brought to you by CBD American Shaman. Free CBD samples every day. Patrick Mahomes next here on Sports Radio 810.
Chiefs postgame. Brought to you by Casey's Own CBD American Shaman. Come on into your local shaman store for a free sample of stress-sacking CBD. Everything is better with the feather.
Playoff season is here, and you'll score big at Robert Brogdon Buick GMC. Save thousands below MSRP and get 0% for up to 72 months on most new Buick and GMCs. There's a huge selection, including the 2021 GMC Sierra. Plus, they have over 200 used cars, trucks, and SUVs. Rush to Kansas City's highest volume Buick GMC dealer on I-35 in Santa Fe and Olathe, or at robertbrogdon.com. On select models must qualify and finance through GMF. For special financing, see dealer for details.
Congratulations, Kansas City, conference champions. Get to Dick's Sporting Goods and gear up with officially licensed Chiefs t-shirts, hats, hoodies, and more. Select area Dick's Sporting Goods stores are open now and will reopen at 6 a.m. Be the first fan around your home, work, or school to show off your gear. We have everything you need to show off your team pride. Come early for the best selection or shop online at Dicks.com with free shipping on championship products. Every season starts at Dick's.
The home of the Jayhawks. Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Garrett, right hand layup, good. Marcus Garrett all the way to the rim, lays it true. Deep catch, big time dunk. Garrett on the feed. Oach on the plus. What an alley-oop finish for Abate.
The official radio home for Kansas Athletics in Kansas City.
Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Rock Shop Jayhawks.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
I'm attorney Mike DePasquale. I played linebacker. I won a state championship. I played Division I ball. I know a thing or two about winning. A winning attitude starts with confidence. My law firm is so confident in what we do that if we take your injury case and we don't win, you don't pay us a dime. So if you've been hurt, call me. My team wants to win for you. I've got this.
Mike's got this. All you need to know. 816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
If we learned anything in 2020, it's that life is unpredictable. There are some things that you just can't control.
All the more reason why you need to appreciate and hold tight those special people in your life. That relationship you know you can count on no matter what. At Diamonds Direct, your love is our passion. Your relationship is why we exist, and we stand ready to help you create those memorable moments in 2021 that celebrate and solidify those unbreakable bonds. Our selection of precious rare diamonds has never been greater. From a simple 1-carat princess cut to a breathtaking 10-carat round brilliant, we have your perfect diamond in stock every day at the guaranteed best value price in America. And even in unpredictable times, Diamonds Direct's commitment to you will never waver. We promise the largest selection, the highest quality, the best value, the strongest warranties, and the most unforgettable experience. So as life gets back to normal this new year, remember, cling to the ones you adore by showing them how much they mean to you. And we'll always be here to help. Diamonds Direct.
At 119th and Row.
These days, it's okay to do some things halfway, like wearing your pajama bottoms on a work call. But managing your prescriptions shouldn't be one of them. That's why CVS has a proprietary search tool to find ways that may help lower your prescription costs, and will deliver them for free. No wonder CVS customers are better than most at staying on prescriptions, which tends to make you healthier. Come in or call today and get a free prescription savings review at CVS. Savings vary. Not all patients eligible for savings. Delivery restrictions apply. Visit cvs.com for details.
Aristocrat Motors has an SUV that will fit your needs and your budget. So start 2021 by making your selection at Aristocrat Motors. From certified pre-owned to new, we have a Mercedes-Benz, Maserati, Alfa Romeo, Porsche, Land Rover, or Jaguar to fit your needs. Ask about financing that is as low as 0% and our leases that are simply sign and then drive into your future. Aristocrat Motors. We make it possible at I-35 and Shawnee Mission Parkway or online at aristocratmotors.com.
First and goal from the 6 for Kansas City. They trail 9-7. Motion man is Hill to the near side. Now shifts behind Mahomes. Handoff running to the right. Slashing, extra effort, diving Darrell Williams. He's in. Touchdown, Kansas City. Terrific effort by Williams. 6-yard rushing touchdown. And the Chiefs take the lead.
The play of the game was presented by Central Bank of the Midwest. Take a new look at what's possible with Central Bank of the Midwest. Visit centralbank.net.
Sports Radio 810 WHB postgame show. The Chiefs are AFC champions once again, 38-24 over the Buffalo Bills. The game essentially ended at about 31-15 with Josh Allen's interception down in the red zone. A moment there that felt like a bit of an ender. I mentioned that again because the Chiefs were doubling up Buffalo at that point. Another Chiefs touchdown really iced it at 38-15. The Bills scored, got their onside kick, kicked the field goal. The game ended after that. But those last 10 points, the last 9 points, changed virtually nothing but the final score, as the Chiefs were truly dominant, as that was obviously a storyline over so much of the last really several weeks, as pundits tried to find a way to convince themselves that the Chiefs were not about to return to their second consecutive Super Bowl. They did. We're here again, and the Chiefs are now 2 weeks away from finishing the run-it-back campaign successfully with back-to-back Super Bowl championships. If it's going to happen, it's going to happen because of Patrick Mahomes. He's the thing that changed. I saw a funny tweet that I think was a real answer, but also well said. When did the Chiefs become such a complete team? Someone asked, and then someone else quote tweeted it with, whenever they started Patrick Mahomes. It's totally transformed the direction of the franchise. Not the direction, I don't want to say that, because Andy Reid and everyone else had this team pointed in the right direction. But Patrick Mahomes has changed everything from AFC Championship games, Super Bowl appearances, now 2 in a row, to potentially 2 Super Bowl wins in a row. Absolutely unheard of. Just about anywhere outside of New England. And even in New England, they went a decade without a Super Bowl in the middle of their run. Just a tremendous place that we're in right now. Also remind you that Rally House is selling AFC Championship gear at their Kansas City locations right now until midnight. If you're out and about, you can go check them out now, or tomorrow morning they'll all open and make sure they're fully stocked in the morning as well. All sorts of AFC Championship gear. Grab your hats and shirts, the official gear that you saw from the podium, that you saw accepting the Lamar Hunt Trophy and postgame. You can get it all at Rally House in Kansas City. But first, let's hear from Patrick Mahomes.
This is Larry Ryan, and what we do with lawns in the coming weeks will have a lot to do with how great they'll look next spring. Get your 2021 lawn off to a great start today at ryanlawn.com.
I felt good from the warm-ups on. We did a good job as far as rehabbing, getting myself ready to go, and I feel like I was myself out there, and we were able to go out there and score points and find a way to win against a really good football team.
There's Patrick Mahomes talking about when he felt like he knew he was good to go in this game and that it would be a vintage Patrick Mahomes Kansas City Chiefs offensive performance, an excellent one at that. Now, again, our eyes can't help but drift ahead 2 weeks down the road because the Chiefs knew their opponent whenever they won this game. Mahomes was asked if playing Tom Brady in the Super Bowl is adding anything to the magnitude of this upcoming game.
Yeah, I mean, the Super Bowl is the Super Bowl. Being able to go up against one of the greatest, if not the greatest quarterback of all time in his 150th Super Bowl, I mean, it's going to be a great experience for me. I mean, to go out there and have a chance to repeat and get to do it against the best, I mean, it's something special, and I'm excited for the opportunity.
You heard it here first. Patrick Mahomes has Tom Brady in his 150th Super Bowl appearance. If he's wrong or if he's overestimated, it's not by very much. It feels about right. It feels like I could tell you more Super Bowls. Well, I think this is actually probably true. Maybe not for a little stretch in the middle there, but I could tell you nearly as many Super Bowls that Tom Brady has been in than hasn't been in since he's been the starter of the New England Patriots. An unbelievable run that right now Patrick Mahomes has in his sights because he's going on 2 out of 3, which is incredible. And the one time he wasn't there, it's because that damn Tom Brady got in the way again. Just a tremendous matchup I could not be more excited for. Mahomes was asked with that in mind how much time he's going to give himself to enjoy another AFC championship before he starts watching film for the Super Bowl.
I mean, I'll start looking at film tomorrow. I mean, we're in COVID protocol, so I can't really do much, but celebrate with Brittany and my brother. But I'll be excited to do that tonight. But I mean, our goal from the beginning of the season was to win the Super Bowl, not to get to it. So I'll be on the film tomorrow.
That tracks. I mean, that's a pretty good mentality to have. Their goal was to win the Super Bowl, not get to it. Also, though, I mean, we don't know what's going to happen in 2 weeks. We don't know what's going to happen with an offensive line that's 4/5 backups or guys playing out of position. But it's a tremendous achievement to do what the Chiefs have done over the last 2 and 3 years. Weirdly, the AFC Championship game consistency never really fully set in for me until this one, whenever we were realizing, it's 3 years in a row. 2 in a row didn't quite land the same way, and now that they're going to be in 2 Super Bowls in a row, and now we're in a 1-game sample size, and anything can happen between 2 really good football teams. I hope we can appreciate what they've done this year and also be excited about what comes next. A huge part of the offensive success tonight, obviously, was both from Tyreek Hill and from Travis Kelce. They were both absolutely exceptional, and they were open all the time. Tyreek Hill dropped a 30-plus yard bomb that would have put him over 200 yards on the day. He ended the night with 9 receptions for 172 yards. Travis Kelce had 13 catches for 118. Mahomes talked about what worked so well for the 2 of those receivers this evening.
Yeah, I mean, those guys just know how to get themselves open. I mean, they're obviously super talented, but they understand our offense to a crazy degree. And so I thought EB and Coach Reed did a great job of designing plays for them to get them open, and they were able to get open in zone or man coverage, and I just got them the ball.
Another weapon that really played a big part in the offense tonight was Nicole Hardman. He started off really rough with that muffed punt, but obviously turned it around and became a huge part of this offense. Mahomes was asked what he said to Hardman after the fumbled punt return.
Yeah, I mean, I just told him to keep his head up. I mean, we've been in that situation before. So I told him he's going to make a play in this game that's going to change the game, and he made multiple of them. So we believe in each other. We think that we're going to do whatever it takes to win, and those guys did that.
I mean, it worked out, and again, Hardman with a 50-yard run on that little end around. I actually thought it would end up leading the team in rushing. Darrell Williams got some late-game carries to just barely pass him. Darrell Williams had 13 carries for 52 yards by the end of it all. Nicole Hardman had 1 for 50, a nice part of the offense after such a rough start. Mahomes was asked to expand on something that he mentioned in the presser whenever he said the job is not finished after the game, and if that was a tribute to Kobe Bryant and what that phrase and Kobe both mean to him.
Yeah, I mean, Kobe has the one of the best mentalities of all time as far as a competitor going out there and winning championships, not just winning games. And I take a lot from that, going out there every single day and not being satisfied with where you're at. And like I said, the job's not finished. When we went into the season, we weren't talking about going to the Super Bowl. We were talking about winning it again, and we're trying to run it back. And we mean that, and I'm excited for the opportunity to go out there and play against a great football team and try to do that.
Earlier, you heard Andy Reid mention back in 2018 whenever Tom Brady came to the locker room to talk to him after the 2018 AFC Championship game. Obviously, now the rematch coming in the Super Bowl. Mahomes was asked what that meant to him as a young player to have Brady come talk to him and seek him out after the championship game that Brady bested him in.
Yeah, it just kind of reemphasized that I was doing things the right way, that I was putting in the right work, and that I would have more opportunities to be in these games. And I've been lucky enough to be in two more of them since and win both of those. And so get to go up against a great football team as well. And so I'm excited for the opportunity.
Me too. I'm excited for the opportunity to watch it. The one thing that could get in the way is, as I mentioned earlier, just a battered offensive line for the Kansas City Chiefs. Mahomes was asked about the offensive line's play dealing with all these injuries that they faced this year.
Yeah, I mean, those guys have just been battling. They've been battling. They've accepted the challenge. When they play the way they've played these last two games, we're a hard team to beat. And so we put that on them. I mean, we tell them that. We reemphasize that as we go as they go. And as they play with that attitude and that mentality to finish and to do their job, you see our offense does special things.
This is Larry Ryan, and what we do with lawns in the coming weeks will have a lot to do with how great they'll look next spring. Get your 2021 lawn off to a great start today at ryanlawn.com.
There you have it. Patrick Mahomes here on Sports Radio 810 WHB Kansas City. The Mahomes quarterback press conference is brought to you by the Kansas City Acura dealers. Take a test drive at your Kansas City Acura dealer today, and they'll make a donation to Patrick Mahomes' charity, 15 and the Mahomies. Schedule your test drive today. You don't have to make the test drive today for them to donate. You just have to schedule it, at your convenience with the Kansas City Acura dealers. I'm Joshua Briscoe here on Sports Radio 810. Obviously, we have had a ton of players talking. We've heard from Andy Reid, Brett Veach, and Clark Hunt. We have brought you a tremendous amount of audio from the podium. There's still a ton to break down, a ton of stuff that I would very much like to talk about. We'll do that here in the segments to come. Also, Matt Derrick, We'll talk to Matt Verderam later this week on Almost Entirely Sports. Matt Derrick of Chiefs Digest will join us here in about 10 minutes or so as well. In fact, we've even got, a quarterback switch on the other side of the glass. The Drake, Jason Justice, has been running the show up to this point, just tagged out Rudy Salazar in the captain's chair now, and will continue to be there over the remainder of tonight's show. If you want to get in touch with the show, you can do it a variety of ways because we've had so many moving parts and so many press conferences to bring to you live, as only we do on Sports Radio 810, by the way. Everything just as it's happening from the podium straight to you. And we're able to do that here on 810. But because of all of that, we haven't been able to take as many calls or as many questions and comments as we would love to. So if you want to leave a question or comment, you can do so on any of the video feeds we have right now. You can go to facebook.com/sportsradio810, twitch.tv/sportsradio810, or youtube.com/810WHB to watch the show, see me. You can see Rudy. You can see whatever's happening in the studio. And it's also a great place to leave your feedback and also to interact with each other, which I've seen happening a number of times as we've been playing press conference audio. All of that is brought to you by Creative Planning, a nationally recognized Kansas City wealth manager. Let's circle in on a couple of things here before we'll take a break and then get to Matt Derrick. I hate to pick the one negative thing, and it's not a performance negative, it's just a result negative. It sounds like, I don't have any extra reporting other than what we've heard from Andy Reid at this point. It sounds like the Chiefs fear or expect even an Achilles tear for Eric Fisher. That is not official. That is not the word yet. That is not the report. But right now, it seems like that's certainly, it doesn't look good, is what Andy Reid said. If Eric Fisher is out, if we do not get any update on Mitchell Schwartz, if nothing changes from the guys who are not available, the Chiefs starting offensive line in the Super Bowl will be different in 80% of the spots than it was on opening day. We're talking about Mike Rimmers, the third tackle, playing left tackle, Andrew Wiley, your typical guard, kicking out to right tackle. He's your fourth tackle once you've done all this. Stefan Wisniewski, who was not on the team at the beginning of this year, though he was a starting guard for the Super Bowl winning team last year, but he started this season with the Steelers. He got hurt. He got released. He's back with the Chiefs. He's probably starting another Super Bowl as things currently look next week. You have Nick Allegretti, a late-round draft pick who just really never saw the field last year. This year he's played quite well, but he was not starting at guard this season. And then in the middle, you have Austin Ryder, who actually missed time during the season, partially maybe with an injury, partially possibly because of performance. Daniel Kilgore was playing at center at some point this year. There are no 16-game starters across this offensive line over the course of this season, which is just crazy. Again, I'm circling in on something very small, but whenever David Bakhtiari, the Packers left tackle, suffered a torn ACL, I believe, right at the end of the regular season, it came up even again today as, man, that Packers offensive line is really struggling without their best offensive lineman. The Chiefs have been without their best offensive lineman since week 6. And even before that, Mitch Schwartz was limited. Their second best offensive lineman is Eric Fisher. They're probably going to be without him for the Super Bowl, it seems. Nick Allegretti, Austin Ryder, Andrew Wiley, no shade, whatever. I mean, the two tackles on this line are where the Chiefs invested. The number 1 overall pick and a guy they brought in free agency, and those two dudes were bookends last year. If you don't appreciate Eric Fisher, remember Cam Irving. And if you don't appreciate Mike Rimmers, remember Cam Irving. But those guys are the offensive line that the Chiefs have built to this point, and they're both gone. It certainly seems. I'd be at this point equally surprised, I think, to hear that either Mitch Schwartz or Eric Fisher are coming back for the Super Bowl. Maybe there's a chance for Schwartz. I have no idea what kind of shape he's in. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if he's in football shape. He hasn't played in a really long time. I don't know if he's expecting to play. I don't know if he's planning on retiring at the end of the year. I certainly don't expect to see him, come through like a wrestling hero out of behind some fog machines and out of the dark of the hallway. I can't expect that. I'd be thrilled if it came to fruition. I cannot expect that at this point, and I can't expect a apparently suspected Achilles tear from Eric Fisher. I can't expect him to play 2 weeks from now. Those both just seem untenable at this point. And so if the Chiefs do win the Super Bowl again this year, they're going to do it with all backups plus Austin Ryder across their offensive line. I bring up the Packers to highlight what an incredible accomplishment that would be. Some good news on the injury front. They won this game without Le'Veon Bell or Sammy Watkins. They were both questionable today. Neither one of them played. Seems pretty easy to expect that either of them would be able to play 2 weeks from now. Another full week of rest without actually having to do anything football activity-wise next weekend, and then another week to prepare physically, mentally, to get ready for this game. They'll obviously spend 2 weeks to prepare for the Buccaneers, and they're going to spend 2 weeks trying to figure out how they're going to account for an offensive line that's beaten up. But that's going to be even more of a chance for this team to once again recalibrate and get healthier, especially for those guys that didn't play today. Still, regardless of what happens in 2 weeks, not to say that it doesn't matter, it very much does. Win or lose, I'll have a very different tone next week than I do right now, because Patrick Mahomes is right. The job is not finished. And if they lose, it will be a real bummer. And if they win, I'll be ecstatic. I am not making a determination about 2 weeks from now. I want to focus for a moment on how incredibly difficult it is to appear in back-to-back Super Bowls. I said this earlier in the show, but the Niners were nowhere near the playoff picture by the end of the season. You work your way back through, the Titans, who the Chiefs beat in the AFC Championship game. They were in the AFC Championship game. They got close-ish this year. They were a good team again this year, but nowhere near up here to the Chiefs or really even the Bills, I would say. And the Bills didn't look like the Chiefs' peer today. You look at the Houston Texans. The Texans were, I wish I would have been able to go back and see what the live betting line was at the biggest point of the blowout that the Texans were setting up against the Chiefs. They seemed like they were going to beat the Chiefs. They seemed like they were going to be a team that you would have to reckon with. And now, and obviously this is, again, a positive reflection of where the Chiefs are at compared to where the Texans are. But right now, the Houston Texans have no head coach, have a GM that is different than the one they had a year ago, have all sorts of issues all the way up their organization, and their MVP caliber quarterback once out. If I was buying stock in football teams at this point last year, before the playoffs began, I would have had the most money in the Chiefs, and the Texans might have been second for me. And they are a dumpster fire right now. They don't even have their own first-round pick, which is really, really high in the draft. Third, I think. Rudy, seems like you would know where the Texans are picking, right? Or where the Dolphins are picking with the Texans pick.
Third, yes.
That's what I thought. That team had the Chiefs on the ropes at about this time last year. And the Chiefs are going back to a second Super Bowl, favored, by the way, against the Buccaneers. 3-point line right now. And the Texans are rebuilding. The Titans are trying to reevaluate some things. The Niners are going to be rebuilding. The Packers fall short again. The Buccaneers are here with a new quarterback. Not new in the traditional sense, but new to them. Like whenever you get, a nice new hoodie at a thrift store, it's new to you. Tom Brady is just getting a Gucci hoodie at a thrift store. Go ahead, Rudy.
By the way, so when the Texans took a 24-0 lead, according to the Las Vegas Review-Journal, they were 9.5-point favorites at that time.
That's still lower than I think it probably should have been if it wasn't Patrick Mahomes playing for their team. That's incredible, though.
Chiefs were favored, or at the start of the game, the spread was Chiefs by 5.5, and then essentially by the start of the second quarter, it's Texans by 9.5.
It's a 15-point-ish swing there, and they're rebuilding, and the Chiefs are back. The Chiefs are back where they were. And man, listen, we got to take a break so we can get to Matt Derrick. I've finally had time to spread my wings and gab a little bit, which, by the way, we'll do tomorrow. We should have, Rudy, I'm also going to go to you again. We should have an Almost Entirely Sports tomorrow night clear to go, right? Because KU got moved to Thursday.
Yes.
Should be good to go.
By the way, I was slightly wrong. It started off Chiefs 10-point favorites. It dropped to 9.5 whenever Kenny Stills got the first touchdown. So they started off the game
it was a 19 to 20-point swing. Holy smokes. The Chiefs went from that to being back here again. Remarkable. Again, if you want to hear more coverage all day long tomorrow, it'll start at 6. It's going to go all day. Border Patrol will be on this microphone in about 6 hours, and I will not be awake for the beginning of that. But I know some of you will, and I look forward to hearing it, in podcast form, or maybe catching the third or fourth hour of the show.
I'll be sleeping when the zone starts, probably.
Yeah, there's a decent chance of that. But we'll have coverage all day long tomorrow. And if you're looking for more from me and Rudy and our usual cast of characters and guests and whatnot, make sure you subscribe to Almost Entirely Sports wherever you get your podcasts. Our times can vary depending on what's going on around us, but everything we do ends up in the podcast feed, including this post-game show, by the way, which I also saw someone else asking questions about. If you missed any of the show, we have all of the presser audio is going to be in this file of audio. Every syllable I say into this microphone tonight is going to be in the podcast file. It'll be up in the additional programming section at 810whb.com and in the 810 mobile app, as well as in the Almost Entirely Sports feed. So if you're subscribed there, it'll just show up on your phone just like it would any regular old episode of Almost Entirely Sports. I am Joshua Briscoe. This show is brought to you by CBD American Shaman. Free CBD samples every day. Matt Derrick, Chiefs Digest, next to recap the Chiefs' 38-24 victory in the AFC Championship game.
You're listening to live post-game coverage on Kansas City's home for the National Football League. Sports Radio 810 WHB.
It's football season in Kansas City, and that means it's ring season. So as KC hunts for another championship, there's no need to hunt for the best tasting light beer in town. You can run it back this season with the great taste of Miller Lite and enjoy greatness on the football field and in your beer. The official great taste of football in Kansas City, Miller Lite.
Please enjoy Miller Lite responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Do you have a frog?
A freezing room over the garage? Now that everyone is home, are you looking to convert your frog into an office, a schoolroom, or a comfortable room to escape your family? With no ductwork required, Mitsubishi Electric offers room-by-room air filtration and precise temperature control. Let's help you turn those cold, uncomfortable spaces in your house into a space you and your family will really enjoy. To learn more about Mitsubishi Electric's solutions, visit keepkccool.com today. Now, they can help you whether you need to heat it up or cool it down. Mitsubishi's got you covered. Our biggest problem here in the Sports Radio 810 control room and studio was the heat. We've got a lot of windows and a lot of radio equipment, and our Mitsubishi unit has kept us cool for years. It works like a charm, and it works quickly, and it's whisper quiet. It's been a real game changer for us at Sports Radio 810. Check them out at keepkccool.com. That's keepkccool.com today.
This is your moment to take the path less traveled, to break the status quo, to stop talking about the problem and be the solution. This is your moment to shape the future. This is your moment to be the greater good. Join America.
Sponsored by the Missouri Community Service Commission and the Corporation for National and Community Service.
The Kansas City Comets are back for their 11th season at Cable Dahmer Arena, and so is the energy and excitement of indoor soccer. Comets soccer is fast, furious, high-scoring action for the entire family, and parking is always free at Cable Dahmer Arena. Get your Kansas City Comets tickets today by calling 888-9-COMETS or by visiting Ticketmaster.com. That's 888-9-COMETS or Ticketmaster.com.
Every weekday on Sports Radio 810, tune in to hear Kansas City's favorite local lineup. At 6 a.m., wake up with the Border Patrol with Stephen St. John and Nate Bucati. At 10, it's The Zone with Jason Anderson. Now at 2, get into the program with Soren Petro. And wrap up your day on Almost Entirely Sports with Joshua Briscoe. Kansas City's hometown sports station. Sports Radio 810 WHB.
A KC tradition since 1957, Hereford House is a locally owned steakhouse that has served generations of Kansas Cityans. Hereford House exclusively serves certified Hereford beef, which has been proven to be naturally more tender and flavorful than other brands. All their steaks are aged 21 days, hand-cut daily, and grilled over an open charcoal flame. This process provides a wonderful aroma and delicious flavor that cannot be duplicated by any other cooking method. Hereford House, Leawood, Independence, Shawnee, and Zona Rosa.
And Tony, you think back to last year, Kansas City improved immensely defensively in the playoffs compared to the regular season. Allen will throw it into a crowd, knocked around and intercepted. It's picked off by Fenton. Fenton working the right sideline, and he's dropped as he crossed the 40-yard line. A 30-yard return. Josh Allen trying to place the football, and Fenton steps in. It bounced off the hands of John Brown. The Bills turn it over. A big one.
We play the game presented by We Buy Ugly Houses. If you're in an ugly house and it's an ugly situation, call the Ugly House guys today. 1-800-44-BUYER or go to WeBuyUglyHouses.com. Fix that ugly situation and turn it into cash.
One more time in case you missed it, that's our ugly play of the game presented by We Buy Ugly Houses. If you're in an ugly house and it's an ugly situation, call the Ugly House guys today, 1-800-44-BUYER or go to WeBuyUglyHouses.com. Fix that ugly situation and turn it into cash. An ugly play for the Bills, a great one for the Kansas City Chiefs, 31-15 at that point. I started tweeting out some stats and whatnot, marking that as being the end of the game because that felt like pretty much wrapping it up, heading home. An ugly play for Buffalo, a beautiful one for Kansas City. Let's shift gears now. I've talked to myself long enough. We've heard enough pressers today. Let's get a little bit of help. Let's get it from Matt Derrick of Chiefs Digest. You can follow him on Twitter at Matt Derrick, and he's brought to you by Bob Hamilton Plumbing, Heating, AC, Rooter, and Electrical. The Chiefs scored 38 points today, so you can get 38% off the Bob Hamilton Service Partner membership that includes 4 checkups a year on plumbing, electrical, HVAC, priority service, and 15% off service work. You better call Bob. We have called Matt. Matt Derrick, how have you felt tonight? What did you think as you saw the Kansas City Chiefs turning to their second consecutive Super Bowl appearance?
Yeah, I was just talking with Rudy that they won by more than one score.
They did.
So I guess we can put that narrative to rest where it belongs.
This one counts. Yeah, this one counts as a real win.
Yeah, this one counts as a real win. I think this team showed once again that it's the best team in the league. I mean, I think that's the way they've played the entire season. That's the way that they're playing right now in the playoffs, the postseason. I fully expect that they're going to be the world champions again. This was a complete performance. This wasn't just the offense carrying them along the way. This defense played exceptional tonight, especially in the first half. You look at the points, and really a lot of them were kind of garbage points there at the end.
Yep.
This was, outside of a muff punt, this was a complete and total, frankly, beatdown that the Chiefs put on the Bills tonight.
I think that's exactly right. I mean, if you end it where we just heard it, right? If you end it with the interception where, again, it felt largely over, the Chiefs went and scored another touchdown after that, by the way. So you could call it at 31-15. You certainly could have called it at 38-15. The touchdown and onside kick and whatnot, that was all, I mean, I guess it wasn't fully garbage time, but I don't know what they could have done to made that gap any seriously closer by the end. So I don't mind calling it garbage time, to be honest. That with 6 of those points just being Nicole Hardman taking a ball and then setting it at the 1 yard line and saying, "Go for it, guys." I mean, you do the quick math there, and it's 31-9 with the Bills doing nothing but kicking field goals until the game was over on top of them. It's incredible.
Yeah, and just once again, I mean, you look at what happens when this team gets on a roll on both sides of the football. I mean, you take out the ends of half possession. Chiefs had 5 straight possessions. They scored 4 touchdowns and a field goal in those possessions. And in the meantime, they're holding the Bills to, in that same stretch, I think, a couple of punts, a couple of field goals, and an interception. I mean, that's an absolute domination on both sides of the football. I mean, and especially for a Bills team, coming in offensively and playing as well as they did. And at the point in which, L'Jarius Sneed went out of the game, at that point they'd held Stephon Diggs to 2 catches for 12 yards.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how you can sit back if you're the Chiefs and just be looking at this performance and trying to find any fault, because I can't find any fault.
The crazy thing is, I mean, I could go nitpick at a couple places. Tyreek Hill probably should have had 200 yards receiving because he dropped a bomb early in the game.
Pretty good nitpick, yeah.
I mean, and it's tiny, right? It's just stuff that I'm remembering from, because I mean, at the time, our friend Seth Kaiser had tweeted this is how the Chiefs could lose to the Bills. Nicole Hardman muffs a punt, gives them 6 free points. Tyreek Hill drops a pass that should have been 30 or 40 yards in a conversion. Juan Thornhill nearly had a pick. I did not put that on the same level because he was making a play on the ball and Cole Beasley was punching it out. But, I mean, at the beginning of the game, there were at least 3 plays where you went, oh, man, they at least missed opportunities there. And then I could not tell you another time that I would have thought that, or another play I would add to that list from that point on, which is in and of itself remarkable. Just absolutely remarkable.
Yeah, and you're right. I mean, if Tyreek Hill catches that pass on the opening drive, I think the Chiefs absolutely no doubt open with 4 straight touchdowns on 4 straight drives.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just, legit. So, yeah, I mean, you're right. I mean, you could absolutely quibble, and we're grading on a curve here. If we're saying
God,
that
yes.
the Chiefs, made some mistakes tonight. I mean, yeah, okay, they could have put up 50. I mean,
yes.
Okay, I guess they could have.
Sure.
They didn't need to.
No.
And they won convincingly without doing that.
They could have put up 50, and they could have given up like 12. I mean,
yeah,
that might actually just be the number. I mean, it's just, and the reality is with a couple mistakes, most of them early on both sides of the ball, they won by 2 touchdowns in a game that was not a 2-touchdown game. This was a 3-touchdown game that just happened to end by 2. Much like most of those 1-possession wins were 2-possession wins that happened to end with 1. The other teams didn't get the lucky break on the onside kick or whatever. This might be a weird place to zoom in on, but I'm just curious why. because look, there was the halftime show on Fox where I think it was Terry Bradshaw that said, they're not going to be able to just they're not going to be able to flip the switch. They're not going to be able to just flip the switch and be good on offense all of a sudden, which discounts the fact that it's been one of the best offenses in football all season long. So that's foolish. But also, I kind of thought they were going to have their best game in a very long time against the Bills. My only regret is that I wasn't more boisterous about picking this game to be a 2-touchdown game. What do you make of the fact that this was, much like the first half against the Browns, honestly, whenever the lights are the brightest, whenever they do need to score, and frankly, whenever they need to get the defensive stops, they have been able to do that. Is there a rhyme or reason to that?
I don't know. I can't quite put my finger on it. I mean, other than, this team on both sides of the football all around just seems to have guys who make plays when things are bright. And I can't explain. I mean, I think the Chiefs would tell you, and Brett Veach would tell you, that it's intentional, that they've gone out and they tried to get players that they think can shine in big moments, and that the stage is never too big for them, and they've got the personalities to deal with it. They've got the ability to persevere, that these are guys who don't give up. Maybe that's all true. I mean, maybe it is just finding the right mix of players and having the right blend of coaching. But I mean, this team has a resiliency. I mean, and it hasn't gone away. I mean, this isn't just something that they were resilient last year, and in those 3 playoff games. I mean, it's continued. I mean, they've done it again this year. Once again, I mean, being down 9-0, a lot of teams playoff by just pack it in there. I mean, they don't have the ability to come back from that, and you didn't see any panic, any concern or worries or whatsoever from that team down 9-0 and the way that this game started.
Yeah. The most important thing I think we can do here, and again, I've mentioned this and I'll say it again, I frame it this way with absolutely no prediction for next week at all, like baked into the analysis here. I'm literally saying, in the moment we are in right now, without knowing what may, will happen in 2 weeks, the mere fact that the Chiefs are in their second consecutive Super Bowl is absolutely bonkers. I mean, it's absolutely remarkable that we are at a place where the Kansas City Chiefs in 3 years have been in 3 AFC championship games, have won 2 of them, which means 2 Super Bowl appearances, at least 1 win. I mean, we saw the Patriots before last year's Super Bowl, obviously. The Patriots beat the Rams. They lost the Eagles the year before that. They beat the Falcons the year before that. And they beat the Seahawks 2 years before that. I mean, they've had incredible runs. But outside of New England, this is something that we just don't see in the NFL. The NFL's not built to allow this stuff.
Not in today's day and age. I mean, we certainly have seen some dynasties in the past. I mean, the Steelers, right out of the box. I mean, Packers won 2 straight Super Bowls. We've seen the Steelers on their run, the 49ers, Cowboys, all had their runs. Mm-hmm. But no, in today's day and age, when the NFL's goal is to try and get every team to finish somewhere between 6-10 and 10-6, having 3 years of this is ridiculous. And you're right. I mean, the Chiefs are two inches away, as they would tell you, from 3 straight Super Bowls. Mm-hmm. And here's the scary thing, and what's going to make Chiefs fans absolutely obnoxious and make the rest of the world hate Kansas City for the next decade, is that the streak's not over.
Yeah.
I mean, this isn't the end. I mean, we're not going to look back and say, oh, hey, wasn't it a great 3-year window?
Yeah.
No, they're going to keep doing this for a while.
One thing, and I saw that a caller wanted to talk about this, and so I'm stealing this from them. It looks like they have hung up, so maybe we can address their topic because I think it's a really good one. The coaching staff that the Chiefs have right now, Eric Bieniemy is overdue for a head coaching job. Maybe he'll get the Texans job. Maybe it'll be Leslie Frazier, which would be even funnier after this. Not that he wouldn't be a good coach, but you just saw this happen, guys. Come on, Houston, open up. But Eric Bieniemy is either due or well overdue for a head coaching job. Steve Spagnuolo's, the work that he's done with this defense, and particularly with this secondary, there's a lot of money on that defensive line. There is not a lot of money outside of Tyrann Mathieu in the secondary right now. And this secondary has been kick-ass this entire season, and for a good part of last year as well. Even Dave Toub, who has stood by Nicole Hardman and has always, in his time in the NFL, produced one of the most efficient special teams units in the sport. I don't know if you can say enough about especially those three guys that Andy Reid has around him right now.
Yeah, I mean, and honestly, after seeing games like this tonight, I was starting to wonder, because I'd asked Steve Spagnuolo a couple of weeks ago if he wanted to be a head coach again. And he's like, yeah, the fire's still there, still burned. I'm watching a performance like this, and I'm like, why wouldn't the team give Steve Spagnuolo another shot?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it didn't go well in St. Louis, but look at that operation and what was happening in St. Louis at the time. He had no chance to succeed there. You wonder if maybe he might get another chance. And I go beyond that, because you're right. I mean, I think that we should be looking back in a few years and saying, okay, Eric Bieniemy's a head coach. Look on down here. Mike Kafka's going to be a head coach in this league one day.
Yep.
I don't think there's any doubt about that.
Yep.
They've got, certainly, even you look further down, a guy like Joe Blameyer.
I was going to bring him up if you weren't going to. The number of times that Joe gets casually brought up on a press conference is so interesting to me.
Yeah, I mean, Andy Reid thinks the world of him, and I think he's got, space to become maybe an offensive coordinator one day. There are other guys I think that certainly have coordinator abilities, if not even head coach aspirations. Sam Madison might be in that category.
Dylan McCullough, I think, has mentioned it, yeah.
And then on top of that, the Chiefs have some guys who are just, frankly, Hall of Famers at their position.
Yeah.
I mean, Dave Toe's Hall of Fame special teams coach.
Yep.
One of the best. He's not going to go to the Hall of Fame, don't get me wrong.
Right.
I'm just saying he's one of the best.
In a special teams Hall of Fame.
In a special teams Hall of Fame.
Right.
He's your guy.
Yeah.
Tom Melvin's a fantastic tight ends coach.
Yeah.
He's been around forever. I mean, this. I thought somebody had posted, and it's right. I mean, you look at Andy Reid's coaching staffs from Philadelphia, and they're just absolutely, dotted with guys who go on to be head coaches and great coordinators. 10 years from now, we might be looking at this same chief staff and saying, "Oh yeah, look at what this guy did. Yeah. Look at what he did."
Yeah. It's just, and specifically, I do want to talk more about the defense, because we should, will, and must talk about Patrick Mahomes breathlessly for the next decade. It's going to happen. I'm cool with it. But the performances we've seen from L'Jarius Sneed, Juan Thornhill, this might just be me paying attention when he's close to the ball, but by my eye on one watch, it's the best Juan Thornhill has looked since his injury over a year ago. I mean, he was near the ball a handful of times today, which is a tough thing to do for a safety consistently. Tyrann Mathieu may have had one of his best games of his career last week. He was all over the place again tonight. I did not hear from Dan Sorensen in a way that I am thinking he probably had a nice effort. Charvarius Ward, and we know that that Sneed is in the concussion protocol. You'd hope that goes well over the next couple of weeks. But I mean, again, he's all over the place. Bashaud Breeland made plays. I haven't been more wrong about anything Chiefs related than I have been about my fears about the secondary these last 2 years, and it being consistently figured out by Spags, that coaching staff, and the guys that are on it.
Yeah, last year I think a lot of it was, I give a ton of credit to Steve Spagnuolo for just figuring out what he had and figuring out how to make it work. I mean, it was an imperfect roster last year from this, I think, the secondary standpoint, and it took him a while. But once he figured out, okay, here's what these guys can do, here's how I can work around that, and here's how I can take advantage of the things that they do well, it really worked. And this year, I think they're a more talented group this year. I think they're deeper at cornerback. They have a little bit more experience. I think they've got, Snead gives them players with some upside. Safety's not a whole lot different. And, hey, maybe during the season they took a step back because Thornhill wasn't quite what he was last year. But you're right. I mean, the way I think that this is an important game for Juan Thornhill is that it is now 12 months removed from that surgery. And that's a pretty important line of demarcation for guys coming back from an ACL. They don't normally come back, get onto the field, 7 months later, like he did, and start playing again. Usually it's a little bit longer. And even if they do get on the field, it's usually a year before they really start to get back close to where they were. And tonight was, I think, the first time that we could really say for a sustained period, this looked like rookie Juan Thornhill again.
Yeah. Yeah, it really did. I'm really hopeful and was very excited to see that from him because, again, it's just he hasn't looked that explosive in a while, which, again, makes a lot of sense. One thing that is a clear, obvious negative, and that we may not get any other read of it other than this stinks, is that Eric Fisher left the game pretty late. It was called an Achilles injury, which doesn't have a lot of positive outcomes. Andy Reid said after the game that it's not looking good. I mean, without any extra reporting or anything on my end, it seems like they expect that to be a ruptured Achilles and not to have him for the Super Bowl. Is that a fair way of reading it from what you know? And then what do they do if they don't have Eric Fisher in 2 weeks?
Yeah, I certainly got the impression from everybody I've heard from tonight that if Eric Fisher slides in that MRI machine and doesn't have a rupture, they will be stunned. That's certainly what it sounds like. And watching him limp off the field, that's certainly what it looked like.
Yeah.
That's huge. The Chiefs, over the last 2 seasons, when Eric Fisher plays, they're 27-1. They're 4-5 when he doesn't play. And you can cherry-pick those numbers a little bit, and maybe I'm cherry-picking him a little bit, but it still speaks to the fact that Eric Fisher's that important. He's a Pro Bowl left tackle. You don't lose that and have it not hurt you in some way.
Yeah.
They're fortunate that they've got some depth, that they've got some guys that they can work with. We really didn't get to see what they could do with Rimmers out there at left tackle, Wiley on the right side. Wisniewski coming in on the inside, that's not a problem. The interior is going to be what it was. It can be fine. It's the edges that you're going to have a concern with. And, yeah, I mean, that's scary. I mean, now, the Chiefs are good enough to overcome that. So I don't think it's a deal breaker. But at the same time, I mean, that's outside of Mahomes, Kelsey, and Hill.
Yep.
The next guy on the list that you would say to this team that you cannot lose is Eric Fisher.
Yeah. Yeah, I was literally just about to ask where would he fit in that ranking, and I think that's right. I remember before the season we were kind of having that conversation, and I don't know if it was you or I or where we were at, but I was having that conversation somewhere, and I think Mitchell Schwartz was third on my list, or not counting Mahomes, so fourth total. And then he goes down, and then that guy becomes Eric Fisher. The crazy thing is that this offense, in all likelihood, in the Super Bowl, is going to be playing with 4/5 of their offensive line either backups or out of place. Rimmers is their third tackle at left tackle. Andrew Wiley is their emergency fourth tackle at right tackle. Nick Allegretti did not start at left guard. Wiley is kicking from right guard to right tackle. Wisniewski, who again obviously started the Super Bowl last year, has the experience. He'll be there at right guard. And then at center you have Austin Ryder, who missed some time in the middle of the year that was maybe performance related, maybe injury related, probably a little bit of both in some way. There is not a 16-game starter across this offensive line, and the only guy that's going to finish the year where he started it is Austin Ryder. How much do you expect that to impact them against Tampa, which obviously has a great pass rush? We have a lot of time to break down that matchup. And then also, what do you think it says about this team that they've gotten to this point so decimated across that line, and they still put up 38 points sleepwalking, it felt like at times today, against the Bills?
Yeah, and just speaking to that, I mean, and just going to the fact that we're not even talking about Plan B, C, or D. I mean, now we're about on Plan E.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you didn't even mention the fact that on March 15th, the beginning of the new league year, the Chiefs thought Laurent Duvernay-Tardif was going to be their starting right guard.
And that Lucas Niang would be at least at a point where he would at least be. I forgot about LDT. I thought you were going to talk about Niang. They at least thought that Lucas Niang, if he wasn't going to be a starter, would be your depth piece over Andrew Wiley. He was a third-round pick. I mean, yeah, that's two more guys. Absolutely.
And in September, everything was fixed because Kelechi Osemele looked like a stud.
He was great.
I mean, once again, it just speaks to the fact that you just keep going down. I mean, I'm of two minds on that. I mean, one is that, you know what, this team has weathered every single problem on the offensive line that could be thrown at them.
Yeah.
So why would you doubt that they can overcome this? That at some point, that they just have a system that works, and Mahomes can erase almost all problems. So, hey, you know what, maybe it's not going to be that big of a deal. But then at some point, you have to just know that there is a breaking point. I mean, there's a point at which you just lose so many guys and go down the list that eventually it becomes untenable.
Yeah.
And, yeah, I mean, you've got to expect that if the Chiefs do go out there with a line of Rimmers, Allegretti, Ryder, Wisniewski, Wiley, that the protection's not going to be as good. They're not going to be able to run the ball as well. I mean, you've got to assume that. I mean, I think Andy Reid's obviously going to go into the next 2 weeks figuring how can I game plan around this. And if anybody can game plan around having Plan E on the offensive line, it's Andy Reid.
Yeah.
So, if you're the Chiefs, you got a bye week Andy Reid to prepare for this. I mean, I come to the conclusion at the end, taking all the consideration, is that Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes are going to probably make sure that it doesn't matter.
Yeah. That's a good point. The bye week is a nice thought to end on a little bit more optimism here. That does make me feel a little bit better. Matt, always great to talk to you. I may or may not end up trying to talk to you again in a little bit less than 24 hours. I will certainly talk to you next Monday or sometime next week in the week off that we'll have, and then again 2 weeks from now on this post-game show. I was going to say win, lose, or draw, but definitely win or lose. I don't think you can tie in a Super Bowl.
No, they're going to just play until somebody drops. So just like us, we always play until somebody drops.
That's true. And tonight it might be Rudy, the way things are currently going, but we'll see. Thank you, Matt. Always great to talk to you.
Thanks, Josh. Take care.
Follow Matt on Twitter, Matt Derrick, at Matt Derrick. Check everything out that he does on ChiefsDigest.com. Click his links. Follow his tweets. You can Venmo him at, I don't know his Venmo. But you can at least follow him on Twitter and read all of his stuff at ChiefsDigest.com. This is the Sports Radio 810 WHB postgame show. I need to tell you one more time, rally houses are about to close around Kansas City, but first thing in the morning, you can go get your AFC Championship merchandise if you didn't get out there yet tonight. I haven't gotten to because I've been in this chair, but first thing in the morning, rally houses will be opening back up, and you can watch and listen and interact with this show in a variety of ways. You can call us at 913-381-810. I'll take at least one call. Casey, if he holds on. He? Actually don't know. Casey's a gender-neutral name. Rudy's nodding. If Casey holds on over the course of the break, we'll get to his call, and anyone else who hops on, we can do that. Otherwise, you can leave some comments, questions, and whatnot over the course of our Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube videos. You can watch the show there. The comment sections are great there, and those are all brought to you by Creative Planning, a nationally recognized Kansas City wealth manager. We'll take a break. I'm Joshua Briscoe. More Sports Radio 810 Chiefs postgame show whenever we come back.
Chiefs postgame, brought to you by Casey's Own CBD American Shaman. Come on into your local shaman store for a free sample of stress-sacking CBD. Everything is better with the feather.
Have you wanted to speak a new language, but thought it would be too difficult? Then try Babbel. Babbel starts by teaching you words and phrases that gradually get more complex. Soon, you're practicing short conversations. So in 15 minutes a day, you'll be speaking a new language in a few weeks. Babbel is built around real life. It teaches you practical conversations that you will actually use. Babbel, language for life. Celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Now try Babbel for free. Just go to Babbel.com today. That's BABBEL.com.
Hey, Kansas City, it's Brian Pringle with Victory Ford at the Legends in KCK. Victory Ford is dedicated to one thing, serving you. Our staff are experts in providing you the knowledge needed to make the right decision on your next car or truck. Fantastic customer service doesn't end when the sale does. Our dealership also staffs a 5-star service center with the highest rated technicians and amenities. Visit us at the Legends Auto Plaza on the southeast corner of 435 and Parallel, or online at victoryfordkc.com. Victory Ford, where our first price is better than their last.
Spectrum Brands, the leading supplier of hardware and home improvement, is looking for workers at their local warehouse in Edgerton, Kansas, right off I-35. You'll receive day one benefits, 12 paid holidays, and become part of a culture that we love, made up of the right people, a diverse group of people with varied backgrounds. Spectrum Brands is hiring for warehouse workers $16 per hour and equipment operators $17 per hour. Must have 6 months recent reach truck or order picker experience to be an equipment operator. Apply today at spectrumbrands.com/careers. That's spectrumbrands.com/careers. Turn your job into a career with Spectrum Brands.
Our friends at CBD American Shaman are calling an audible for our listeners, so listen close. When Kansas City scores, you score big at your local Shaman store the day after the game. If Kansas City puts up 30 points, it's 30% off the next day at your local CBD American Shaman. If they put up 50 points, you got it. 50% off the very next day. Now that's a big win. American Shaman, life is better with the feather.
Want a low fixed rate in the twos? It's yours. Looking for a true no-cost loan? You got it. How does A1 Mortgage do this? The answer is simple. By offering real-time rates without the inflated markup. Call A1 Mortgage now at 816-822-8888, 822-8888. Whether you're purchasing or refinancing, FHA, VA, conventional, or jumbo, A1 Mortgage has you covered with fixed rates starting in the 2s, true no-cost loans, and financing up to 100%. Call A1 Mortgage now and have your loan closed in about a week and enjoy no payments for 2 months. 816-822-8888. That's 822-8888. Or apply online at mya1mortgage.com.
A1 Mortgage, making your dreams a reality is what we do.
A1 Mortgage Group LLC, a Kansas licensed mortgage company. License number MC0001649, NMLS 268370. Programs and rates subject to change without notice.
Boulevard believes in easy indulgence. That's why they decided to put Tank 7 in cans. Their distinctly American twist on a classic Belgian-style farmhouse ale takes its name from the notoriously unpredictable fermenter where the signature beer's perfect combination of ingredients first came to life. You could call it fate. Their brewers call it Tank 7. Grab a 4-pack and treat yourself to a Tank 7 today. You deserve it. Boulevard Brewing Company, Kansas City, Missouri.
WHB Kansas City.
They say that beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Sometimes the situation is just plain ugly. Divorce, repairs, overwhelmed, taxes. If you're in an ugly house or an ugly situation, call the Ugly House guys today. 1-800-44-BUYER or WeBuyUglyHouses.com. We can help you fix that ugly situation and turn it into beautiful cash. That's 1-800-44-BUYER or WeBuyUglyHouses.com. We're the real Ugly House guys.
You know what makes good sense? Staying safe this holiday season while spending time with your family and friends. Let us cater your safe and happy holidays. Now that makes good sense.
So take us home to your family. Who's to say you can't buy love? Just take a bite of a good sense of good sense. Good sense makes good sense.
Do you have chronic joint pain, not having success with steroids, but trying to avoid surgery? Well, thankfully, there's a better way, and now it's available in our area from the medical professionals at QC Kinetics, now off 435 and State Line. This is Stephen St. John, and I'm talking about new therapies, advanced all-natural regenerative cell treatments that not only give you relief, but speed up the process of healing and repair. If you've got pain in your knees, shoulder, lower back, hips, or pain from arthritis, or even pain from an old injury, you need to learn more about these potent new regenerative solutions. Call now for a free consultation. QC Kinetics, 816-412-6299. These remarkable new treatments increase mobility, decrease pain, and restore tissue. They actually allow your body to heal itself. Regenerative medicine is here. Don't wait. Call today. QC Kinetics off 435 and State Line, 816-412-6299. That's 816-412-6299.
When do you think about your insurance? Chances are it's when you're paying your bill or filing a claim. At Briar Payne Mead, we always think about your insurance. It's what we do. Buying a car, having a baby, building a home, starting a business. Then it's time to call BPM at 913-681-099 or visit us on the web at bpminsurance.com. Great service and extremely competitive rates from the top-rated companies. Briar Payne Mead, 913-681-099. That's 913-681-099.
Second down and long. Stephon Diggs, motion man from right to left. Shotgun snap. Allen in the pocket. Allen trying to avoid the rush. Allen can't spin away, and the Chiefs bury him. L'Jarius Sneed leading the charge for Kansas City, and a huge loss on the play.
I got a need for Sneed. The Chiefs do as well. The rookie defensive back has been excellent this year as a pass rusher, as an interceptor, as a slot corner, as the nickel guy, as an outside corner. Dude's been all over the place. He's been superb this year, and nothing changed in that regard today. He did enter the concussion protocol. We're now familiar with that. Seemed like he was doing okay whenever he popped back up. So you'd expect him to be fine within the next couple of weeks. He'll have 2 weeks to be ready. Breland and Mahomes both cleared the protocols this week in 1 week, obviously. We'll keep an eye on that. Obviously, we'll wait for more news probably tomorrow. So tomorrow midday, I imagine we'll probably know about Eric Fisher's Achilles injury and the extent of it, but that will come around tomorrow. This is the Sports Radio 810 WHB postgame show here on Sports Radio 810 WHB Kansas City. I'm Joshua Briscoe, Rudy Salazar on the other side of the glass, and it's all brought to you by CBD American Shaman. When Kansas City scores, you score big at your local CBD American Shaman store. Our team's score is your percent off. They scored 38 points. You get 38% off all day tomorrow. American Shaman, life is better with the feather. If you're interested in checking out CBD American Shaman, I would suggest you do it tomorrow on a 38% off day, because it's going to be 2 weeks before we get to another game. If I'm being honest right now, I'd take the under on 38 against the Buccaneers with an entirely backup offensive line, but, could certainly see the Chiefs ending up in the 30s if you want to maybe stock back up again in a couple of weeks. But go check it out now at CBD American Shaman. Let's take a phone call here. Casey is on the line. Casey, you're on Sports Radio 810. What's on your mind?
Hey, what's up?
Hey, how are you?
Big Chiefs fan all my life. Just want to say we did great today, and I want to talk about how Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce both killed it absolutely today. Tyreek Hill with 9 catches for 172. Travis Kelce with 13 catches for 118 and 2 touchdowns. Your thoughts on the big two and what they couldn't do to capitalize against our offensive weapons?
Casey, I appreciate the call, and I would be more than happy to talk about both of them. Thank you for listening. Again, thanks for the call as well. Yeah, man, I mean, they're incredible. I genuinely appreciate Casey bringing that up, because we're 3 hours into this show, and I haven't just obsessed over how great these two players are at this point yet. I think it might be the best pass-catching duo the NFL has ever seen. I would hear some counter arguments if you had one. I'm not making it with 100% certainty just yet, but at the very least, if you're allowed to account for their quarterback as well, it's probably the most dangerous trio in the history of American football. It was never more obvious than in last year's playoffs, right? Where you see deficits erased just like that. In this game, a 9-point deficit disappears in a 21-point third quarter that's just bombs away one after the other. Patrick Mahomes would get the ball to Byron Pringle consistently. He got the ball to Byron Pringle a couple of times today. Nicole Hardman has a role in this offense if he needs it, right? He can throw to the running backs. He can throw to Nick Tysor or Ricky Seals-Jones or Deion Yelder, whoever, right? Yelder's on IR, I believe, but and Ricky Seals-Jones didn't get the target today. Tysor didn't catch it. I think it was a throw at his foot. But anyway, with that being said, I cannot remember for the life of me who said this, and so I apologize for taking someone's way of breaking this down without being able to credit them. But someone somewhere had mentioned that there are only so many truly generational players that can be in the league at one time. And it depends on how big a net you want to cast in that regard, right? Maybe it's 5 or 6 quarterbacks. Maybe it's 2. Maybe it's 10 wide receivers in this age of just an embarrassment of riches in terms of pass catchers as the game has evolved the way that it has. Maybe it's 3 of them. Regardless of where you draw that cutoff, the Chiefs have 3 generational talents on this roster. They have 2 guys in Mahomes and Kelce, and this is hardly a dig at Tyreek Hill, but they have 2 guys on this offense existing in the sport at the same time who have legitimate arguments as the best to ever do it at their position if they continue their current trajectory for the rest of their career. Mahomes isn't the GOAT yet, right? It's too early. It's simply too early. Travis Kelce probably is. Travis Kelce could retire after the Super Bowl, and I might be able to, I would probably make that case. But you have 2 guys that are going to have that argument to be the greatest of all time at their positions, and they are on the same offense which is coached by a guy who will retire with an argument to be the best offensive coach in the history of football in Andy Reid. Belichick will be the most accomplished, maybe the greatest defensive coach. You'll have some offensive coaches with an argument, all of that stuff, absolutely. But between Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, and to a lesser but still extreme extent, Tyreek Hill, you are talking about generational talent all existing together at the same time. This isn't Peyton Manning making Dallas Clark who he was. You've got guys who would be the best player on a really good team, but not a great team, all being incredible on one franchise that has a real chance of becoming truly dynastic. That's incredible. And look, man, I mean, Sammy Watkins was not playing today. I assume he will play in the Super Bowl. Do you know who was third on this team in receiving yards today? I asked to no one in particular. I wasn't really asking you, Rudy. You're the only other person in the building right now, but I was sort of asking to anyone.
Patrick Mahomes.
Wouldn't put it past him, but no. Third in receiving yards today with 22 was Byron Pringle. Demarcus Robinson did not get a target, by the way. I don't know what happened there. That one I have some questions about. Not really important, but weird. Byron Pringle was third on this team in receiving yards today with 22 and 3 catches. Patrick Mahomes threw for 325 yards, and all but quick math, 35 of them went to Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill. 290 yards were to just Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce. That's insane. The Bills knew where the ball was going. They were not running it well. They were not spreading it around. The game essentially, offensively, was, I'm either going to throw it to Tyreek Hill or Travis Kelce. Can you cover them? And the answer was no. We can't. And we're a pretty talented defense. But we simply cannot cover anyone wearing 10 or 87. It is just not going to happen for us defensively today. And so Patrick Mahomes said, all right, thank you very much. I will go to Hill and Kelce for the rest of the night, and we will head to Tampa in 2 weeks. It's unbelievable. Good question by the caller, and remarkable to be where we're at right now. Let's take a couple more calls here real quick before we get to Sean McDermott. Dave is on the line. Dave, you're on Sports Radio 810.
Yeah, I just want to comment on the talking heads on TV. And, there was, I think Bill Cowher took the Bills, and you got Skip Bayless saying Patrick Mahomes isn't, that great. And, there were so many. Is that, do they realize who we're talking about here? Patrick Mahomes is like y'all see The Matrix?
Yes.
People saw The Matrix, right?
Yes.
Okay, the chosen one?
Yeah.
Neo, right?
Yeah.
Did you remember in The Matrix when he started seeing all the numbers?
Yeah.
On the whole, in the world, in the world that he was living in?
Yeah.
He just saw these numbers as zeros and ones. That's basically Patrick Mahomes on the football field.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, and people, and I don't know why they act like, because they're sitting there talking about how hot the Bills are and all that kind of crap. Seriously, you saw how, how Aaron Rodgers withered in that game. Basically, you saw how Patrick Mahomes made completed third downs when he was getting tackled around his ankles and stuff like that.
Yep.
He's Neo in the Matrix.
It's
okay,
such a good call. Yeah,
unstoppable, zeros and ones, and it's on the field basically the gridiron.
Yeah.
These zeros and ones in that guy's head. He says geometrically, the Matrix basically. He's geometrically Neo on the football field, and I don't know why people we're all saying that, they're all going to take the Bills and stuff, and it's I was just like, No, not even Aaron Rodgers, not even Tom Brady. He threw 3 picks in that game, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And you saw Aaron Rodgers wither away in the game that he played in, couldn't do what Patrick Mahomes could do. I mean, that's all. I'm like, why are you acting like that he doesn't, like he can't overcome, Because, I mean, he's proven time and again that he is like, he's a different, I mean, seriously, he is like, it's like he's an alien from another planet on the football field. There's nobody. I mean, like I said, Aaron Rodgers, no, can't do it. Tom Brady, no. I mean, I think they're going to beat Tampa Bay. I don't care how good Tampa Bay's defense is. The Bills were supposed to be so good. Oh, what was it? Colin Cowherd came on and said, what was it? That we had a terrible red zone offense.
That seems possible. Bills, sure, that he would have said that. Yeah, why not?
Yeah, and the Bills had some kind of incredible, whatever their stupid incredible stat was, and it's just like, it was all going to be so. That game shouldn't have been close, by the way. We gave them 6 easy points.
Yep.
I mean, they got the ball on the 1.5, 3 yard line, whatever it was, and then they got a miraculous onside kick.
Yep.
And it slowed the game down. It was goofy and stupid. You can tell Patrick Mahomes is like laser. There's like these laser beams coming out of his eyes when they start they ask him at the end of the game, hey, what do you think about facing, the Patriots in the playoffs? And his eyes just all of a sudden became laser focused. Did you see when he yelled? I mean, after he threw that ball to Travis Kelce, it was like the double yell. He threw his head back twice, and he was like, he was so pumped up. I mean, you can see in his eyes how laser focused his eyes get when he's in a big game,
Yeah.
Dave, he's insane. You saw those passes that he was throwing in that game today.
Yeah.
The guy wasn't even you didn't even see where the guy was going to go. He'd throw it to this open spot in the field, and boom, when they'd show it from behind the quarterback, the camera view from behind the quarterback. Like bam,
It doesn't make sense. He's dodging bullets and then bending them. I'm gonna keep with the Matrix thing. Dave, thank you for the call. I gotta let you go so I can get to one more before I take a break. But I do want to also answer your question here. Here's the reason, because Dave asked, why was Bill Cowher? I don't know that he was, but I'm gonna trust Dave. It seems like Dave would know. Why was Bill Cowher picking the Bills? And then I'll add this one myself. Why is Terry Bradshaw on television halfway through Dave's got me fired up. Halfway through Packers-Bucks, why is he at the halftime show talking about how the Chiefs can't just flip a switch? How come he's saying the Chiefs can't just do the thing that we've seen them do a million times before? And also, as if their offense had been garbo up to this point this year. Please spare me. Here's the answer, Dave. Picking Goliath to win is boring. It's not good radio. I'm not saying for us. I'm saying if you're Colin Cowherd or whatever, if your analysis of a game is, I'll take the team with Patrick Mahomes because Patrick Mahomes is Neo from the Matrix, and I'm not going to pick against Patrick Mahomes. And if I did that, I would be right like 90% of the time because Patrick Mahomes wins like 90% of the time, maybe more, especially in big games. I'll just take Goliath, which is who Patrick Mahomes is, and it's Patrick Mahomes with Andy Reid throwing the Travis Kelce, throwing the Tyreek Hill, with a defense that just kind of bleeped around and gave up really 9 meaningful points today. 9 points. He's right. The Hardman fumble was a free 6, and then this game was really over at 31-15, which if you don't have a special teams gaffe is 31-9. And then they went and scored again. It was 38-9, and my mental score was actually 38-15. And then the Bills go score again. They get the onside kick. They get the field goal. The game's over. It was a 2-touchdown game with the Bills having the best luck in the world to take it from 38-15 to 38-24. But to just point that out and say the Chiefs are going to win the AFC West next year by 4 games is boring. Because you're probably going to be right, and so you want to try to find a spot where you can say or do something unique. I get it. This is not really me throwing stones from a glass house. I understand. It's why I want to try to pick things that are entertaining and interesting to talk about. And so for the Chiefs, for talking from Kansas City to Kansas City is very different. Because I can just say, Patrick Mahomes is great. The team we root for has Patrick Mahomes. There's my analysis. I can do that, and you guys are like, yeah, that's right. That's a great point. Good job, Josh. Love the show. I'm hoping that you say that. But then we also, it's also why we nitpick at, I said this earlier, a little tongue-in-cheek and certainly not impactfully, but Tyreek Hill probably should have had 200 yards today because he dropped a bomb that should have gone for 30-some. He should have had 200 if Patrick Mahomes is 350 because he dropped a pass. We mentioned Hardman's fumble, which did not impact the game in the grand scheme of things, but this game could have been an even bigger blowout. Frank Clark had a nice play today on was I talking about him this morning? Maybe that was Friday night. I can't remember. All the days are running together. I think Friday night, I was talking about how the Chiefs' edge rushers have been really disappointing this year from a number of metrics and stuff, right? And Frank Clark was saying, sometimes people in the media don't understand the sacrifice and all that stuff. That's fine. That's fine. All that's totally fine. I don't really want to fight Frank Clark. I like Frank Clark a lot, actually. The edge rushers' production this year has not been up to par with the rest of the league, with their salaries, whatever. And so we talk about that. I talked about that on Friday night and going into an AFC Championship game, when I didn't really think that Tano Passanio was going to turn the tides of this game. He did have I don't think he brought Allen down, but I think he forced a throwaway. Oh, no, that was the one that ended up in a penalty, I think, actually. Was that the Passanio? Was that a Passanio sack? Then Okafor came in and cleaned it up. I think that was actually Tano. So great. Love it. I like Tano also. He just hasn't been super productive this year. We nitpick on stuff like that. Even I do that because we got to talk about something. And so, nationally talking about why did this game get predicted the way that it did is largely people trying to find a different angle. But the problem is the different angles are wrong here because you can't just discount that one team has Patrick Mahomes and one team doesn't. And you can't pretend like he and Josh Allen are peers, or God forbid that Josh Allen has the quarterback advantage in this matchup. It's foolish. That's where we're at. That's where Kansas City's football team is at. It's so good that it makes people bored to pick them. That's crazy. That's the biggest possible swing you can have over the course of 3 years, and the Chiefs have done that. There you go. Let's take a call from Aaron. Aaron, you're on Sports Radio 810.
Hey, buddy.
How are you?
Hey, thank you. Thanks for taking my call.
Absolutely.
Hey, by the way, love 810, love it all.
Thank you.
Thank you. This is different from what we're talking about, but and excuse me if I'm wrong, but a bunch of the penalties, the personal fouls, the offsetting things drives me nuts.
Yeah.
So the offsetting thing. So I'm not saying let's do a rule change or anything like that, but so there were 3 to theirs, 2 to ours. Like, how is that offsetting?
I think it was 3-1.
I get it. I'm just saying there should be a rule change on something like that because to me it was egregious. I love your show. I'll listen and go from there. I don't know. Maybe I'm an idiot.
No, you're not, Aaron. Thank you for the call, and thank you for listening to this show to 810 altogether. Everything, really appreciate you. No, you're not an idiot at all. I was as confused as you are. More than confused, I'll admit this. I think it was 3-1. I think it was a penalty on 2 offensive linemen and Josh Allen, and a penalty on Alex Okafor. Which, by the way,
I'm still not for sure why.
Well, so here's
did he say? Like, I didn't see him do anything in replay. I mean, maybe he said something.
So he brings Josh Allen down, and frankly, I thought maybe the hit was a smidge unnecessary at that point. Whatever, I don't know. But then Josh Allen throws the ball at Okafor. All right, that's a flag. You can't do that. All right, then Okafor is over Josh Allen and bark at him or whatever. That can be a flag because you react. All right, that's fine.
And obviously, we don't know what he said. Maybe he said something that crossed the line.
Sure, yeah. He said, I don't think you're as good as Patrick Mahomes.
You're not that good.
And then the 2 offensive linemen come in and they escalate it more and they both get flagged. Here's what I'll say and admit to what the caller just said. I was surprised to hear, here's 3 flags on the Bills, here's 1 flag on the Chiefs. Penalties offset. I was expecting at least one of those to stick. I really was. I was like, well, maybe they won't push him back 30, but maybe there's some sort of rule that if one team has one and one team has more than one, that you just move it back 15 more yards after that sack, and then we're going to get a, 4th and a billion here or whatever it was. But that's like those penalties offside. I laughed out loud in the studio. It's like, wait a second. Is that right? And they're dead ball fouls. You can kind of do whatever you want with dead ball fouls, right? I was also very confused. You're not an idiot at all. I was surprised for that result to come through. I probably am an idiot and should have known that that's how that rule works, but I was surprised by it. It's also funny just because, I guess you could have Alex Okafor stand over Josh Allen and call him soft or whatever, right? All right, he gets a flag. And then 53 members of the Buffalo Bills come out on the field and just take off their helmets and beat Alex Okafor with their helmets. And you can have 53 personal fouls on the Bills and then one on Alex Okafor, and then it's just offsetting penalties, play 4th down. I don't know. Is there an end to that? There's probably a practical end to it where people start getting ejected or whatever, which, by the way, I don't think anyone needed to get ejected there. I thought that was probably fine. But is it just as long as both teams have a personal foul, they offset no matter what? What if it's 9-9? What if it's 9-2? I don't know the logical conclusion of that rule. It's very strange. Let's go to Travis. Travis, you're on Sports Radio 810.
Hey, how's everybody doing?
I'm excellent, Travis. How are you?
I'm good. How about those Chiefs?
How about them?
How good do we have a player in concussion protocol right now?
Yes. L'Jarius Sneed is in concussion protocol, and I believe Armani Watts is as well. Both of them have tweeted, so they seem like they're doing all right. But yeah, I think the two of them are both in concussion protocol.
Okay, so if everything goes okay, they'll be okay to go for the Super Bowl?
Yes, both of them should be. Since Mahomes and Breland both cleared in 1 week, neither of theirs seemed any more serious in real time. Bears watching, but I feel pretty good about them both, yes.
Okay, I think that's all I have to say. Good luck, Chiefs.
Awesome. Thank you for the call, Travis. Thank you for listening. Thanks for asking a good question that I've really everybody, sometimes it takes a long time to get to calls. And that's just how the show goes. Sometimes that depends. But sometimes people ask questions like that, and I'm like, oh, yeah, did I mention that Sneed's in the concussion protocol with Armani Watts right now? I don't know if I did. So thank you, Travis, for calling and asking. We have to take a break because we need to get to both Sean McDermott and Josh Allen theoretically before 1 a.m. I think we probably need to be out by just sort of for the technology of the radio. So we will take a break now here on Sports Radio 810. My name is Joshua Briscoe. Rudy Salazar will hit the button that will make the commercial break happen. It's a Sports Radio 810 WHB postgame show presented by CBD American Shaman.
You're listening to live post-game coverage on Kansas City's home for the National Football League. Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Hi everyone, this is Jordan from the Holiday Distillery, and we want to thank you for keeping your cocktails local. We are grateful for another year of sharing premium spirits with our favorite customers right here in Kansas City. We raise our glasses to you. Happy New Year from the Holiday Distillery.
Hi, this is Tamara Day from HGTV's Bargain Mansions, and I'm here with Carrie from Nutter Home Loans.
We are wishing you a happy holiday season and a home filled with warmth and love.
Every weekday on Sports Radio 810, tune in to hear Kansas City's favorite local lineup. At 6 a.m., wake up with the Border Patrol with Stephen St. John and Nate Bucati. At 10, it's The Zone with Jason Anderson. Now at 2, get into the program with Soren Petro. And wrap up your day on Almost Entirely Sports with Joshua Briscoe. Kansas City's hometown sports station. Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Hey sports fans, Joni here, and I'm excited to tell you about the newly opened In the Zone Cryo. In the Zone Cryo will help decrease pain and inflammation, accelerate muscle recovery, increase your energy, and boost your immune system. In the Zone Cryo also offers Instasculpt fat reduction, personal training, infrared heat, compression therapy, and more. Mention Sports Radio 810 and receive 10% off your first service. Come see us at College and Metcalf. Call 913-208-4859 or visit inthezonecryo.com. Feel, look, and perform your best with In the Zone Cryo.
A KC tradition since 1957, Hereford House is a locally owned steakhouse that has served generations of Kansas Cityans. Hereford House exclusively serves certified Hereford beef, which has been proven to be naturally more tender and flavorful than other brands. All their steaks are aged 21 days, hand-cut daily, and grilled over an open charcoal flame. This process provides a wonderful aroma and delicious flavor that cannot be duplicated by any other cooking method. Hereford House, Leawood, Independence, Shawnee, and Zona Rosa.
Third down and 10 from the 15. Kansas City blitzed the fourth most in the NFL this season. Rush coming again. Allen trying to shake off Passanio, and he cannot. Allen all the way back at the 40-yard line, and now the pushing and shoving continues. Flags fly. Dawkins and Okafor getting into it. The Chiefs bringing reinforcements down the field as Dawkins gets separated by an official, but the words are being exchanged everywhere.
Here's a stat for you on ESPN's bottom third right now. The Chiefs are the 14th team to make back-to-back Super Bowl appearances. That's really hard. We're on Super Bowl 55. You've only had teams back-to-back years 14 times. I just hope we appreciate that, man. I feel like I'm starting to get tired drunk. So I don't know why. I'm just drinking water at this point. It's not even G Fuel, my G Fuel cup. But I feel like I'm just getting to kind of that point. Like, I just want everybody to have fun and appreciate how good things are. But I really do. I want you to appreciate the fact that this is something that almost never happens and never happens in Kansas City. Not for 50 years. It's crazy. Also, I've seen somebody called in and you said Aaron called back in. Rudy, shout out to Aaron again, and shout out to everyone who's listening to this point tonight.
Technically, it's Aaron, but his name is Aaron. Right. Goes by Aaron.
And someone commented on Facebook. And again, I'm sorry I can't say your name because
I don't know.
Because something is broken. But if you have any questions, leave them in the Facebook comments, on Twitch comments, or YouTube comments, and I will try to blast through a bunch of them between Sean McDermott and Josh Allen, which will be the last two things that we play here for you tonight. Got to get both of these pressers in. Let's start with the head coach of the Bills. Take a couple questions, and then go to Josh Allen, and we'll wrap up there. But let's start with McDermott, potential Coach of the Year candidate, certainly candidate, and he spoke to the media following the loss that ended the Bills' season.
Hi, Sean. Offensively, we talked about it all week about the challenges that you guys face with this Kansas City offense. First time around, you said outplayed, outcoached. Was it simply that simple, just because of obviously the talent that was on display here tonight from the Chiefs?
You referenced the first time around. What'd you say?
Sorry. The first time around, we talked about it this week. You had said, we were just outcoached, outplayed. Was that kind of the case again tonight? Because it seemed like the talent level on their offense was just it was apparent.
Yeah, I mean, listen, we didn't get the result we wanted to tonight. Give the credit where credit's due. They played a really, really good game. They got a lot of speed. But this is a learning experience for us. That's how you have to look at it. We had a great season and came up a little bit short tonight, and it's a great football team on the other side here.
Stephon Diggs was the last one off the field. Looked real emotional, not only after the game but during the game. Were you able to talk to him at all, and how frustrated was he with how this one went?
Well, like the rest of the guys, he's very frustrated. He's a heck of a competitor, and as are the guys in our locker room, and it stings. I mean, to get this far. Sometimes the further you go, the harder it is to lose, and so it's again a learning experience for us as an organization, and we've got to obviously get back to work here.
Thanks, Sean.
Hey, Sean, we've heard a bunch of guys already talk about how they're going to use this as motivation and fuel, and they're going to remember this feeling heading into the off season. Just what are some of your biggest takeaways and things that you can take away from this season and everything you guys accomplished?
Yeah, I mean, this is a heck of a season. Whenever you get this far, a lot of going into this season, a lot of sacrifice because of the type of year it is, in particular because of the type of year it's been. And guys stayed together. They love one another. They played hard for one another, and this has been a heavy lift since day one. And I can't thank everyone at home enough for their support in the Bills organization and outside the Bills organization. Because this was not done just by one person, obviously, for how far we've come, and it's a major step for our organization. So came up a little bit short tonight, but I'm extremely proud of the team, proud of the organization, and thankful and proud of Bills Mafia as well for making the trip. Most of them that made it out here, and the ones that didn't make it back at home, and wish we could have had a different outcome tonight.
A bunch of guys said how 24 points against this Chiefs team usually isn't going to cut it. Those 2 field goals that you guys had, one at the end of the first half and then I think like midway through the third quarter, did you think about going for it there on 4th and goal?
Yeah, Heather, I did. Thought about it in both occasions, really, and maybe if I had to do it all over again, I would have went for maybe one of them. But the one before the half, for sure, I wanted to get points. We were having trouble coming up with points, and I wanted to at least have something to show for it going into half, especially knowing they were getting the ball after half. And so, I'll look back at that and I'll go back and reevaluate that, especially the one after half there. And again, as an entire team, we'll learn from this experience.
Thanks, Sean. Safe travels back.
Yeah, thanks, Heather.
Yes, good evening, Coach McDermott. George Radney, Challenger Community News. Congratulations on a good season, overall good season. But tonight, my question is, was there serious consideration for Kenny Stills replacing either John Brown or Gabriel Davis? Because it looked like both of them, due to injuries, just didn't have their legs tonight.
Yeah, we gave that long and hard consideration, especially during the week with Gabe's situation, and then listened to our medical team, and they felt like Gabe was ready to go. And look, at the end of the day, really appreciate what Kenny's done since he's been here, and it felt like if it was close, I wanted to give the guys that have played through the season the chance to play tonight too, and so that's what we did.
Oh, you wanted to get the veteran? Okay, it wasn't. I was thinking with Kenny Stills with being a veteran player.
No, I didn't say veteran. I didn't say veteran. I said the guys that had played for us during the season, even though they were a little bit banged up, we evaluated them before the game, and I listened to our medical team. They said they'd be ready to go and be fine, and that's what we went with.
All right, and last question. Do you think they might have been able to, because it looked like you were running the ball, had some success with running the ball. Do you think, looking back at it, might have wanted to run the ball a little more tonight?
Well, it depends on how you look at it. I thought there were times when we did get a little bit of production running, but not enough overall. Obviously, we got to possess the ball in order to keep their offense off the field, and you can't end up in second down and long, third down and long situations because of the way they play.
All right. Thanks a lot, Coach. Take care.
All right. Thank you.
Hey, Sean. I remember last time, after the Houston game, you said with Josh, maybe it got a little bit away from him. He was trying to do too much down the stretch in that game. Do you feel like that was at all happening in the second half of this game for Josh, where he was, maybe playing a little outside of himself?
Yeah, at times maybe perhaps, Joe, there was a couple of times where he extended the play a little bit, maybe too long instead of throwing the ball away. Josh is a heck of a competitor, and so I love that about him. I think he'll continue to take more steps now being in this setting tonight, and that's why it's so critical we were in this setting. Certainly wanted to win, but what you take from this as an organization of how you handle the week, how you handle potential division of the next step, the speed and intensity of this game, in particular at somebody else's field, home field, and so all of that, just having been here before myself, we as an organization, players, staff, coaches, all of us collectively can learn a lot from this.
Knowing all the progress that he's made this year and how hard he puts these losses on himself, what do you say to Josh after a game like this when it's really raw?
Yeah, well, listen, I just told him and I told the team I love him, and I think any teammate of Josh's, myself included in that. You love it when your quarterback is wired the way he's wired. He'll put it all on the line for this team and his teammates. And like all of us, I want to turn the film on right now and watch it, but it's probably not the best thing for me right now. So we got to give it some time. And at the end of the day, this is our measuring stick. If you lose an AFC Championship game, that's the team we got to beat. And so we've got to do everything with that in mind this offseason.
Appreciate it, Sean.
Hi, Sean. Matt Fairburn here. What went into the decision to go for 2 rather than take the extra point and make it in a 16-point game down at the end there?
Yeah, we just talked about it as a staff and felt like that was the right thing for us overall, man.
For what reason?
Well, when you're down the sideline, you talk about what you feel like your team needs the most. You listen to the analytics and you try and make the best decision for your team.
And what was your reaction at the end of the game to see some of the personal fouls and some of the chippiness there at the end?
Yeah, I mean, first and foremost, we're a class organization. We try to do things the right way. And listen, these guys, they put it all on the line. And so some of that comes up. It's unfortunate to see on both sides. And so I know Andy was out there. I was trying to get out there to try and do the best we could to manage the situation. So competitive game, that's what happens at some points in a competitive game like that.
Thanks, Sean. Safe travels.
Hey, Coach, I realize the Chiefs are effective just about anywhere on the field offensively. Red zone, though, you guys have been pretty stingy defensively in the red zone in the postseason to this point. What made the Chiefs so darn effective down there tonight?
Well, they got a lot of weapons, Chris. They got Kelsey, number 10, 17. They got a lot of speed on the field, and so they give themselves a lot of options, whether it's run inside, run outside, move the pocket, so on and so forth. So it's a lot to defend down there.
And then just with respect to Kelsey specifically, is he's just that elite? It's just an elite guy that you just have to try to slow down because nobody's really been able to stop him all year. Is it just a matter of trying to at least just try to slow down an elite talent, just a special player?
Yeah, they've got a couple of unique guys like that. Number 10 is the same way, and 87. So, obviously we've got work to do this off season in more ways than one.
Thanks, Coach. Hell of a season.
Thank you.
Thanks, Sean. Adam Benini. What adjustments defensively did you try to make in this game?
Yeah, we talk just like we do every game, Adam, and do the best we can to try and put the players in position, make adjustments at halftime. Sometimes those adjustments are obvious by the difference in the game in the second half, and sometimes they're not. And so I can tell you we tried to make some adjustments. We went to some man coverage a little bit more because they were hitting the ball underneath on us a little bit, and then you see the explosive pass play to Tyreek Hill. I think it was in the third quarter there.
And I just wanted to ask you specifically about Kansas City secondary tonight. From where I sat, that looked like the best coverage Josh and the offense had faced all season.
Well, they're certainly physical. They're a very handsy defense. They did a good job of mixing some things up. They pressured us quite a bit. They've got a couple of veteran safeties that do a great job disguising in terms of what they're in, coverage-wise and pressure-wise. And so, again, give them the credit.
There is Buffalo Bills head coach Sean McDermott, a candidate for Coach of the Year. It's funny, the Chiefs beat McDermott and Stefanski, 2 Coach of the Year candidates. Have a chance to beat Bruce Arians. Maybe he gets a couple of votes. Andy Reid, not really considered for Coach of the Year because this is what they're supposed to do. It's crazy. And Sean McDermott's press conference is brought to you by Metcalf CarStar. If your vehicle gets sacked on the road, take it to Metcalf CarStar, the collision repair experts. They make it convenient and easy to get back on the road. Go to carstar.com and search for Metcalf CarStar. CarStar, relax. They'll take it from here. I am going to take questions until 1 a.m. after we hear from Josh Allen. So first, we'll give you the quarterback of the Buffalo Bills. Obviously, a big game for him tonight that did not go the way that he wanted. Let's hear from Josh Allen before I take a bunch of questions to wrap up the night.
Hey, Josh. Obviously, you guys were dealing with a defense that you were familiar with going into this game. You knew the challenges that they presented. From your perspective, what went wrong?
I mean, hats off to them. It's a heck of a team. They had a heck of a game plan going into it. We didn't execute, and I didn't execute how I should have. I didn't perform well enough for this team. And when you're going against the reigning Super Bowl champs who are 15-1 and the number 1 seed at Arrowhead, and you don't have your A game, you're not going to win the game. And that's what it was. Just a couple of decisions early on, trying to press. I think in the second half we kind of got things going a little bit better, but our red zone efficiency, settled for field goals when you got to score touchdowns against these guys, and that's basically it.
Thanks, Josh.
Hey, Josh. I was wondering at what point in second half, first half, whenever it was, when did it start to feel like it was unraveling a little bit for you guys, where it got to that point?
I wouldn't say we started unraveling. I just think that we hit a lull there in the first half. I thought we moved the ball well enough. We got down to the red zone. We couldn't get the ball in the end zone. And then we got down there, thrown an interception, a couple of bad decisions on my part. Just the communication aspect of it too. They did a good job of being able to check out of their blitzes and not really allow us any time to get back to what we were originally going to run. But again, it comes down to decision making and putting the ball where it needed to be, and I didn't do that well enough tonight.
Right around the 2-minute mark, it looked like you were just staring and seeing it all unfold. Just wondering, I'm sure a lot of different emotions were running through your head, but what was the number one thing that was going through your mind at that point?
Obviously a lot of emotion. Anytime you don't finish the season with the win, I feel like that's the type of emotion you're going to have. But the way it ended, it doesn't sit right with me. How chippy and ticky-tack it got, and I'm disappointed in myself that I let my emotions get to me there. And it's not how you're supposed to play the game of football. And all the other stuff, it is what it is. But I need to control what I can control, and I didn't there late in the fourth, and it's just not good football.
Thanks, Josh.
Hey, Josh, I know you kind of touched on this a little bit, but just with respect to their third down play, were they getting exotic, or as you referenced, were they just kind of switching things late in the down pre-snap?
A little bit of both. They did a good job of making things kind of look like zero, and they dropped out and doubled a couple of our guys, and they brought zero from distance, and just the whole operation. We weren't fast enough to the line. That's on my part, and being able to get in and out of calls with the crowd noise, it's tough to do. So that's why it's such an advantage to have people in the stadium. But again, hats off to them. They, like I said, they're the reigning Super Bowl champs for a reason. And they were a better team tonight.
Thanks, Josh. Hell of a season.
Thank you.
Hey, Josh, touched on a little bit there, but the crowd, Mitch mentioned that protection-wise, it was different than a lot of the year. What was it like navigating that after going through a season where you didn't really have to do that much?
It is what it is. It was tough, but we practiced it all week, and we got to be able to adjust. The good teams adjust, and I didn't think protection was bad tonight. And again, just a couple of times of me getting off my spot early and trying to force things. It's really what it came down to, and I got to be better on that aspect. And like I said, I didn't perform well enough to help this team win a game tonight. And scoring 24 points against this team usually doesn't do it. name the game, scoring more than the other guys, and that didn't give us a good enough chance to do that tonight.
You mentioned the end of the game didn't really sit well with you. When did the emotions kind of start to boil over for the team?
I mean, I don't think it was too much, but just the frustration of getting sacked, and it just took a bad sack, and it is what it is. Like I said, I don't like playing that way, and it's on my conscience right now. It sucks, it sucks losing. You hate to lose, and just it's not a good feeling. But I got to be a better leader for this team.
Thanks, Jeff.
Josh, it's Jay Skursky with the Buffalo News. You guys kick field goals twice inside their 10-yard line, once needing 2 yards, once needing 3. Were you pushing to go for it in either of those situations?
I mean, that's coach's decision.
Every time we
had 3 downs to get in there prior, and we didn't do our job. Like I said, lack of communication, lack of just execution down there, and it falls on my shoulders.
Knowing the quarterback on the other side and the offense, you mentioned earlier that 24 points probably wasn't going to cut it. Does that make it even more disappointing to have to settle for field goals in those spots?
I mean, for sure. They had a good game plan, offense and defense. Again, he's passing the league zone. He's been able to find ways, even with how he playing a little hurt tonight. You saw that, but when you're going against a guy like that, you got to put points on the board, and we didn't do it.
Thanks, Josh.
Hey, Josh, it's obviously really early to fully comprehend, but last year's loss to Houston was so influential in your improvement this year and your mentality last offseason. What do you think you can take away from this loss as you prepare to move forward?
I mean, just every game situation that you're in, you learn from it. This one's not going to be fun watching over. It's not fun falling a game short of the Super Bowl. One team had to win, one team had to lose, and that's the gist of it. And we didn't play good enough to win tonight. And I mean, it's going to fuel us, and I got no doubt in my mind that we will be back. This is a team that fought hard to the end, team that loves each other, and we're still young and we're only going to get better. And that's one takeaway I got from this. And we're close. And I know the results weren't good tonight, but I'm super proud of how our team fought the entire season and how we bonded together. And it was a tough adjustment this year with all the coronavirus and the testing and separating and not being able to go over to teammates' houses, and just a sacrifice that it took this year. I'm super proud of our team, our staff, our organization for that matter, and making this thing work and making this thing go. And it sucks that we couldn't return the favor and accomplishing what we wanted to accomplish. But again, I'm super proud of what we did this year.
Got it. Appreciate you, Josh. Thanks. Safe travels home.
Marcel.
Hey, Josh, it's Diana from ESPN. Sometimes before you play in a big game like this, you're unsure of what it's going to actually be like. And for you, this is your first time playing in an AFC Championship game. How did it feel playing out there? Was it any different for you mentally? Was it any different for you guys collectively?
No, not at all. I don't think it was too different. It's the same game of football, same field dimensions. And we played this team earlier in the year, and just didn't play well enough. Starting off with that 9-0 lead, it was nice, and we had to keep things rolling. But 2 punts in a row, and one was a 3-and-out, and just made a bad decision, bad read, bad throw on 3rd down, and those are the ones I got to have in order to help this team move the chains on 3rd down. Then going field goal, getting down there, throwing an interception, touchdown, field goal. That's not good enough to knock off the reigning champs.
I feel like I learned a lot with this loss right now. There's always things to learn. Yes. Good evening, Josh. George Radney, Challenger Community News. Question I have for you: with the coverage that KC was in tonight, did you see that on film at all? Any of the film, or was it something brand new to you that they presented tonight?
No, they were who they were. A lot of man, a lot of Tampa 2, and then some blitz zero behind it. And yeah, I mean, it's something that we didn't expect, but they did a good job of getting in and out of it and showing different looks. And they played well tonight. And credit goes to them. But again, there was things that I could have done better for this team to help us, and just we didn't get the job done there.
All right. One last question. Do you think the no might have been a consideration tonight to speed up on them so they couldn't make changes?
I mean, we did that a little bit, but again, with the crowd noise, just the communication aspect of going no huddle, it's pretty difficult. We tried it early on, and I don't think it panned out too well. Just it's good to mix in here and there, but we had to get into our third down package too often tonight.
There's Josh Allen, quarterback of the Buffalo Bills. You knew that already. We got a few minutes left here in tonight's show. I am going to work through a bunch of questions that have been left over the course of the last 20 minutes or so on our Facebook, Twitch, or YouTube channels, all brought to you by Creative Planning, a nationally recognized Kansas City wealth manager. Thanks to Creative Planning for bringing all that to you. Someone on Facebook said I look like I'm a similar age to them. They're 35. I'm 26. Do I look 35? I don't know. That's fine. You should see me with my bleach blonde hair. It really takes the years off. But they said, I grew up watching the Chiefs in the 90s and loved it, but I feel like I love this team more. Do you feel that same way? Which is interesting because I feel like whenever you have I'm losing comments because the screen is too. Hold on, can I zoom out? Oh God. I feel differently for a variety of reasons. I think also covering teams changes the dynamic, but this team is the most fun I've had watching the Chiefs without any question whatsoever because they've broken the sport, which is wonderful. Facebook asks, how long would I last in a fight with Frank Clark? Over under 2 seconds. In an octagon, I could get away and then fetal position for 2 seconds, but that's close to it. Devin says that Andy Reid is going for win number 99 as the Chiefs head coach in Super Bowl 55. That's a pretty cool stat. How many Super Bowls does Patrick Mahomes win before he retires? My hunch is to say like 4 or 5, but if they win in 2 weeks, he's halfway to that. So I guess 5, which is so crazy to say. That's absolutely nonsense. How different do you think showing up just one day prior to the Super Bowl will be? Seems like an advantage over other years, especially with Tampa playing at home. Yeah, I think it's a great advantage for Tampa Bay. How creative and efficient were the Chiefs in the red zone tonight? So good. It was all the stuff that we've seen them plant in weeks prior. They nailed it all tonight. Could the Chiefs go back to back to back? Yeah, sure. Why wouldn't they? They'll have to do a little bit of roster work next year. We'll get there over the offseason, though. And somebody noted that Josh Allen complained about crowd noise with 16,000 fans. I think I will leave it there because that is a very funny observation. Thank you to everyone who has watched, listened, interacted, left comments, called over the course of tonight's show. I genuinely hope that you appreciate the fact that your football team is headed to their second consecutive Super Bowl. For more Chiefs coverage, come back tomorrow night for Almost Entirely Sports and all the places you're watching and listening now. We'll talk to you again tomorrow night. Until then, enjoy all the other coverage here on Sports Radio 810, and we'll talk to you again tomorrow as the Kansas City Chiefs are AFC champions once again.
Hey investors, have you always wanted to get into the real estate investing game but don't have the money? Crossroads Investment Lending loans